Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we do a 5x5 Halloween edition. Now, the 5x5, it's something we've done a few times in the past. It's always fun. It's 5 sets of top 5 favorites. And, we've done 3. We've done Star Wars, we've done live-action comic book movies, and we did Valentine's Day earlier this year. That was about 6 months back on Valentine's Day. So, what we got today for you is 5 top 5s. We're going to start with top 5 costume designs. Ease into the Halloween vibes, costumes. It's fun stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be horror or scary movies. It's just costume designs that you've loved across those movies. We've also got occult movies, top 5 occult movies, which is including, witches, demons, and the likes of such, more the mystical side of horror if you're gonna go for it there. So occult will be there. We're also going to do monsters, monster movies. That's a pretty self-explanatory one. But then we're also going to do undead. That includes the likes of vampires, zombies, mummies, and such. Any movies involving them. And then we'll wrap it up with Halloween vibes. And that's your top 5, just something you watch around this time. Doesn't strictly have to be horror. Can be stuff that doesn't necessarily fit into the other categories. Just shit like that. It's a lot of fun, and I'm fucking ready for it. But yeah, I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And yes, we're doing another 5x5. Are you fucking ready for it, buddy?
Oh yeah. Oh, these are always fun. They always allow for much wider range of discussion, which I always like. So yeah, I'm ready for it. Are we? I'm assuming we're going 5-1 here.
5-1, and we'll take our turns. You do your 5, I'll do my 5. You do your 4, I do my 4, etc., etc., etc. So let's begin with costume design. Kind of ease us on in here. Some great costume designs across the history of film. And what are you kicking us off with at the 5 spot there?
I did have kind of a last minute sort of thought. Maybe I'll say him as an honorable mention because I don't think he'd quite make it. I have maybe a little bit too many of those characters already, anyways. But I was thinking of the Miles Morales Spider-Man movies and Spider-Man Noir. Just kind of glimpsed into my mind. Maybe just a little honorable mention there. But starting off at 5, a completely different route. This is a character from 2000's Gladiator. And honestly, it was kind of tough choosing between either Maximus or Commodus. But I think I will go with Commodus at the end of the day. Dude was absolutely just dripped out the entire movie. Love the purple. Yeah. Love purple. Purple's my favorite color, so that was always nice to see. I love the he kind of looked like an Assassin's Creed character, honestly. Like with this white and purple kind of outfit.
The regality of the purple, gold, white. Yeah. Yeah. He was lavish. He had the luxury on him. Bro had the Ric Flair drip.
I mean, honestly, it's impressive how good they made those costumes look. You never questioned. You were like, oh yeah, that's that was probably made during this time. You're like, man, that probably is real. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the set design too was insane.
Gorgeous movie, dude.
There, yeah, it's I don't know. Haven't seen it in a little bit.
I don't think I've watched it since we did it for the 52-year journey, but man, I've desperately wanted to revisit it. It's one of those ones where like we talked about it, and you'd think from our discussion that I wasn't a huge fan of it, but like every time that I've thought about it a ton since then,
Man.
and every single thing I think is positive. So I'm like, you know what? I ought to give it, especially with Napoleon coming up, going through Ridley Scott's filmography. Might have to give that a rewatch.
Yeah, think about Maximus with his hand, brushing through the reeds, dude. It is a beautiful ass movie. It's
gorgeous.
It's a war movie that is done very well. And Commodus was looking sick the whole time, so had to slot him in here, give him some recognition.
Love it.
I don't think I could ever get on that level on Halloween, but I wish I could.
Oh, dude, you'd have to be going pretty epic with it, and it would be a pretty old reference now, nearly 25-year-old reference at this point.
This is true.
You got to stay.
That's kind of weird to think about.
It's
timeless. As old as a reference as we are.
Yeah.
It came out when we were born.
Exactly.
So
that's weird. It would be, but there are also some looks that are timeless, and I'm going to kick off my list with sort of a timeless entity, costume design wise, and that is Indiana Jones. The fedora, the jacket, the whip, all of it. The whole kit that the man is rocking is so classic, man. I love Indiana Jones costume design, and not just in Raiders. I love the kit in Raiders, but I love the opening of Temple of Doom. He's wearing like a white tux with a little red palm bloom there on his lapel. Kind of
is that what the Star Wars reference is?
Yes.
The Codebreaker? Oh wow. Yes.
It's a reference to Indiana Jones.
I didn't know that.
But the Indiana Jones, I'm pretty sure, is a reference to Bond. So like it's a storied little costume thing that comes through.
Okay. I see that. Yeah.
But I fucking love Indiana Jones, love Harrison Ford, and just the classicness of it. I said Indiana Jones, and even if you haven't watched the Indiana Jones movies, you probably know what the man is wearing, and that's kind of, that's iconic, and that's wonderful. I absolutely love Indiana Jones, and I had to give him some love here. But I got some strong costume designs above him. I had to give him the love though at 5 there. So
I'd say he's probably recognizable off of his silhouette alone.
Oh,
just seeing a dude in a fedora with a whip in his hand, you're like, oh, that's Indiana Jones.
And he's got the jacket that's got the sharp shoulders a little bit, and you can,
sometimes
for sure,
like the vest with kind of showing some skin a little bit too.
Yep.
That's a nice look. Always love the good old revolver that he has too.
I also almost went with Marion Ravenwood. I just wanted to give her some love too, because the look she's rocking in Cairo and Raiders of the Lost Ark, when she's got the white blouse and the red pants.
Ooh,
one of the most attractive looks any person has ever worn in any movie ever. Karen Allen as Marion Ravenwood there.
Yeah. That's why at the end he's like, it kind of hurts here too. And
he's like, go ahead and
hurts here too. Oh no,
here, and here.
No, Indy's a classic.
Had to go with it. Had to give him the love. So I got Indy at 5 there.
Okay. Well, number 4. After Commodus, kind of sticking with the villain vein, but going to comic book movie territory here. And this was the classic villain of my childhood. The one that sometimes gave me nightmares, but also sometimes I wanted to be at the same time. Every now and then. Not as often, but comes from Spider-Man 1, Raimi, Tobey Maguire, but this is the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe. That mask, and just him just even Willem Dafoe out of the costume completely and just in the mirror talking to himself. Oh my god, dude. I'm like, that dude just, I don't know if there could have been anyone else more perfect for that role. It was just...
No, I don't think, like, that's one of the most perfectly casted comic book roles of
Mhm.
all time. Like,
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is such a fantastic actor, and to get him in such a role where he gets to just fucking let it fly, you know, he
Yeah.
gets to just go fucking nuts. It's wonderful.
Oh, I don't know. I'm that rooftop conversation, that he's having
They'll
with...
hate you.
He's so... God, he's so... I mean,
Parker.
like I did say, there are times where it would be nice to kind of be Green Goblin, I think more for the glider aspect, just being able
Glider
to fly.
and the suit, it's the costume that makes you want that, it's
Yeah.
it's the kit, that
Mhm.
chrome green and the yellow
Yeah.
eyes and
Oh,
yellow
and
eyes.
tell me, I don't know, when I was a kid, I actually was kind of afraid of the scene where he was crying like an old grandma or like an
Yes,
old lady, and then turned around and does the scream,
that
right?
was always a horrific moment of the movie for me.
Dude, yeah, no, that sucked. But it is followed by Toby just absolutely just Matrix dodging all of these, all of
Mhm.
his knife, whatever. I don't know what to call those. The like shuriken grenade, air-seeking missile balls. I don't. But so I mean that's always cool. You always get that right after. But
No, yeah.
no, Green Goblin. That's a menace to society right there. That dude is just pure evil, and getting him back in No Way Home was really cool as well.
Another great costume design there as well. The sort of tattered
Yeah.
suit that he's rocking,
And
with the hoodie and shit. Like it's cool.
getting punched in the face just over and over and smiling and laughing. It's like, oh my god, this dude is unhinged.
Careful what you wish for, Parker.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a forever role. Like that, I'll never forget. Like that is ingrained in my memory forever.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah, man. Gorgeous costume too. That's just one of the faves. But you mentioned Matrixing a little bit ago, and I'm gonna take it to Matrix for my number 4 here. And I'm gonna go with Morpheus.
Yeah.
Morpheus in the Matrix. I mean, just the little fucking goggles are enough, But then you add the trench coat and the whole fucking vibe, and I mean, my God, man,
He's too clean, honestly.
he's so
And
cool.
it is canon in the Matrix that whatever you're showing up as in the Matrix is your self image. Like it is what you think you are.
Right.
And he just knows.
He's like, I'm
he's
that
like,
fucking guy.
Yes. I in the movie, Neo is literally like the second coming of Christ. You have, Trinity that's basically, I don't know, just also another second coming of Christ. And then Morpheus is just like, he basically is God, I guess, kind of. Like, just, I don't know. He just knows everything and knows what to do. But he's so undoubtedly the best looking in that movie. Like,
oh yeah,
every time. Like those it might just be the glasses. So many cool shots come from him too. Like the pills, reflected in his glasses. Even the dojo, him and just a nice, I don't know what you call that.
Kimono, not a kimono,
yeah.
not a kimono.
Oh, that sounded right.
Well, kimono is a different sort of thing. It's not quite the robes he's wearing, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, okay. A kimono is more of like
more of a robe.
Yeah, more of But
I'm not sure. Regardless, he looks fucking cool the whole fucking movie, man. And I love
or G?
Yeah, gi. It's a gi.
Sorry. I just wasn't gonna be able to sleep unless I figured that one out.
No, yeah, that's definitely the case. Yeah, baller in that as well. Like the purple suit with the tie and the trench coat. Like, what a pimp, dude.
When he's explaining, what the Matrix is, breaking it down to him, sitting in the corner, like, pulling up the TV, like that outfit there. Yeah. Ooh, man. No, Morpheus. If you're gonna go with anyone in the Matrix, I think it's not actually that hard of a decision. Like, I think it is.
Yeah, like you got the class. Like, again, that movie's costume design is just iconic. It's bled through to many a Halloween forever. The leather and the glasses, the sunglasses, and the slicked back hair and that shit. Yeah, man.
Thank you. Yeah. It's nice to see every now and then. It's a good look, and I don't know. Glad that costume design is reminiscing throughout the world still.
Oh yeah, always praise Keanu Reeves, baby.
Dude, always 1 year I need to just full trench coat it up, get some glasses, some Neo glasses, and act like I can fly, dude.
It's a must.
I just gotta believe. I'm gonna go to a skyscraper and actually, it might be dangerous to go full Neo mode.
You're like, I might be tempted.
I'm like, I can make it the first time. Neo couldn't. I can. Yeah, not a good idea. But man, no, the man right now is Morpheus. But it is always nice to give the Matrix some love.
Matrix is a wonderful movie with wonderful costume design. But what you got at 3 there for you?
Well, it's in my ears right now. It's in my ears quite often. This movie. Picking one character was a little tough, but it is coming from the Tron Legacy world. I ended up going with Sam Flynn, the son of Jeff Bridges. I almost went with Jeff Bridges. Almost. He has this very Jesus-like old man in white robes, though this wise character in Tron. But Sam kind of, his look evolves more over time as the movie goes on, and I really like it. At first, he is in the real world just this kind of biker boy, a nice kind of leather jacket as well. Not full Matrix mode or anything like that, that's for sure. But just a nice look to him. But when he gets into Tron world, that's where it's all about. Just the neon lights, the bikes too that are in there that he rides. Oh my god, Disc Wars. Fucking take that disc off your back and it's a weapon that can kill and slice people in half. Gotta love that. And honestly, just the entire look of the Tron world in itself is just incredible. Just blue and orange. It's very, very simple, Good versus evil. The good is blue, the evil is orange. And it's really cool whenever you see, like, literally, like, the evil, like, infects itself. Like, it literally, like, takes over parts of the city or people or programs, as they're called in the movie. But I don't know, it is, I love this world look. And I'll never stop talking about this movie. It's up there in my favorites of all time.
I love that. I love that.
Love me some
No,
Tron.
yeah, like, I've never seen Tron Legacy, but I again, one of those production designs and costume designs that just kind of bleeds through into pop culture in a way that I know exactly what the Tron world looks like, the geometrical neon vibe, dude. It's fucking beautiful. So I love that choice. I love that choice.
Whenever Daft Punk themselves just fit into the universe without any changes whatsoever.
Right.
Like, that's pretty sick, Like, they literally show up in the movie, and it's like, that's what the DJs of this club would look like.
100% their vibe. No, like,
they did. I guess it's not their original look. I think they have, like, some white, like, it's all white. Their helmets, they're kind of all whited out. But no, gotta love me some Tron. Yeah, I'll just, if anything, the audio experience is enough, and then also the visual experience. You like, it's crazy. You could watch the movie on mute and have a good time. You could watch the movie with a blank screen and have a good time. But you get
Right.
both at the same time. I mean, it is a little childish at some points, whatever.
Oh, wonderful audio visual experience, and that's what you want from a movie, man. That's
Yeah.
all you want. It's nice and entertaining, and what more could you want?
Mm-hmm.
But my 3 actually comes from the movie we are discussing tomorrow on this podcast. We begin our David Fincher spotlight in anticipation of The Killer with Fight Club tomorrow, and I'm going to be taking the costume design for Tyler Durden, portrayed by Brad Pitt. The red leather jacket and the red tinted sunglasses and the white collared shirt underneath that flops over the jacket's, lapel thing, like fucking gorgeous. I love the costume design, and of course, it's worn by a rather beautiful man and Brad Pitt in the 90s. So you can't really go wrong there. But
it is kind of the hair. The hair kind of ties it all together.
It does. It does.
I mean,
it fits the vibe for who that character is, and that's the thing, is that it also creates the vibe for who that character is. And to do that with a costume and a character design so thoroughly to where I know what this guy is going to be like when I look at him. You know what I'm saying? And that's a great way to set the tone for a character. And I feel like Fight Club did such an excellent job with Brad Pitt's character design there. And man, yeah, it's a simple one, but I absolutely adore it. And
good old Tyler Durden reminds me of the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket. Anytime you can pull off a red leather jacket, you're kind of stunting. Like, I don't know, that's not very common that you see. And I don't know, in memory, those are kind of the only 2 that I can really think of. I feel like I've seen Prince probably in a red leather jacket at some point.
Something like it. But yeah, man, Michael Kaplan was the costume designer for Fight Club, and he's got a storied career as a costume designer. He did Blade Runner in 1982, also some wonderful costume design in that movie. He did the costume design for the sequel trilogy of Star Wars.
Okay.
So, Kylo Ren and Rey and the like, those are him. I Am Legend. He did that.
Yeah.
He did Miami Vice, one we're doing for the Michael Mann. So yeah, a very, very prominent costume designer, and love to see the work by him there. But yeah, had to go with Fight Club's Tyler Durden for my 3 there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we're on to the top 2. And I guess it wasn't much of a debate on which one was going 1 and which one was going 2. But you were talking about how Tyler Durden was, you look at him and what this dude's going to be like just by looking at him. Don't even need to speak to him. This character that I'm rolling up with, coming from the Star Wars universe, I think fits that bill. You look at him, you instantly know what this dude's about. No questions asked. And it is Darth Maul. Not for, the first scene, talking to the Emperor and such, and then on Tatooine, just gonna run over a child, like doesn't even know the kid at this point, doesn't give a fuck, just doesn't care,
ready to kill him.
Who cares? Kill him. But then the big reveal, the double bladed, reveal with the doors open up. We'll handle this.
Down the hood.
We'll handle this. Go, get out of here. The classic Obi-Wan Qui-Gon stepping up, and then you hear, oh my god, dude. And then the horns, of the Phantom Menace soundtrack go, and you're just like, holy shit, what are we about to get into, dude? And then you get one of the best fights in Star Wars history. I don't know. It is up there with the best fights I think ever. Qui-Gon's really feeling shitty about how many other people have been stabbed in the stomach after him. I think a lot of people like to harp on that Qui-Gon has to be rolling in his grave after all these people getting stabbed in the stomach and such. But it's like every time someone has gotten stabbed in the stomach, it's like like Sabine. People were like bringing it back up when Sabine got stabbed, but it was like that was like in the side, of her, and she
It
was
was in the
instantly
side. She got like immediate medical
instant help.
attention.
Yeah, and like also, I was also thinking like he got stabbed by Darth Maul, like out of hatred. I wonder if
Mhm.
like a kill out of hate, and he wasn't expecting it to like come at all. I don't know. It was like different. I don't know. I feel like his. Anyway, now we're getting into the deep lore of Qui-Gon Jinn's death. But that's just what Star Wars does.
Absolutely. Nah, man. Darth Maul's character design is one of the more iconic.
Yeah.
Again, goes along with like Green Goblin for me, as a childhood villain that you just could not get
Yeah.
out of your head, man.
Yeah. And even in animated in Clone Wars and Rebels, he's sick. Get a little spider leg version of him for a little
yeah.
bit. That's really awesome. And then
No, yeah, man. Trisha Bigger's work on the prequel trilogy as the costume designer there was again fucking incredible. Like establishing the vibe of all the Jedi basically, and Count Dooku, fucking gorgeous costume design there as well.
Yeah. Give me that lightsaber. That's the best lightsaber in the entire galaxy, right there. Or universe now, I guess we have to say. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Not just one galaxy anymore.
But yeah, man. No, I like that. I'm sticking with you in Star Wars, but I'm taking it back to the OT, and I'm going with Darth Vader. Gotta go Darth Vader, man.
Choice. Oh yeah, the other logical choice.
We did a little bartering there. Deciding who was gonna get who, because one of us was gonna get Vader, one of us was gonna get Maul. It's just a guarantee. And I'm happy to have taken Vader off your hands there.
Feel a little
because
bad.
I mean, I've been talking about iconic looks, and there is not a single more iconic costume in all of movies. Just the most recognizable character ever.
Does he also have the most recognizable breathing pattern of all time?
Yeah. Yes.
Like think about that. People know him off an inhale. Like off a singular inhale. Maybe it takes two. Maybe it takes an inhale and an exhale, but that's it. And that's Darth Vader.
Yeah, man. The costume designer in the original trilogy, John Mallow, at least for A New Hope and Empire. I will give some respect to Return of the Jedi, though. That is far and away the shiniest Vader ever looks. I love shiny Vader, man. I do dig that, because in A New Hope he looks a little more weathered, like he's been through shit, and the evolution of that costume to kind of, the more budget that they got behind that movie, the more that they were like, okay, we'll spice up this costume a little bit, but just in small ways. Man, I love Darth Vader, and I love the costume design there. It's probably my favorite thing about Darth Vader is the look and the whole fucking aesthetic you're establishing with him. So,
talk about a guy that you look at and you know what he's about too. Just like Maul. Look at Vader and you're like, okay, well, even with Vader, people look at him, they know. But you could feel him coming. You start to feel cold and scared for no reason. You don't even know why you're scared. You just know death is like around you. That's insane, Right. That's, oh my God. I love that like in Rebels as well. Like they're building him up like, oh, I feel cold. I don't know why. Like, and they're like, it's him, like, oh my God. And he lights his lightsaber, but he does it in a way where it's like pointing the camera. So it looks super short whenever he lights it up. So it just looks like he has this itty bitty little lightsaber, and then he moves it to the side like 2 seconds later, and you're like, there it is. Like you should have ignited it that way,
Right.
From the jump. But no, I don't think Vader really cares about that.
He's got the look. He's got the vibe. You know it. You know it when you see him. The man means fucking business. So yeah, I had to go Vader there. Hard to put him at 2, but I like my 1 a little bit too much.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I was. I love me Maul. I love Star Wars, but it doesn't quite beat the I'd say a little bit longer lasting love. It did start sooner. My love of Spider-Man, and I was debating on which suit to go with. I was going back and forth between Toby. I really love Toby's suit. Even him drawing it up himself, going through that whole process and making it. I love that. But when you're looking at the suits, I think it's kind of undeniable when you put them side by side. Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that suit is just kind of a cut above everything else. And especially even when he's just swinging around the city, you see the ripples. Like it's like loose on him a little bit, but also tight at the same time. But it like blows in the wind. The eyes are perfect. It's like it's like also a little scary too. I love. I haven't played the new Spider-Man game yet, but people are taking some like some really awesome looking screenshots like in the game. The game just looks beautiful enough, and like I've never thought about this like seeing Spider-Man as like scary looking before. Like I've always known him as like, just the little kid, he's Peter Parker. Like I don't see him as scary, but like there was a tweet where it said like, what Peter sees. And then it says like what they see. And it was like, he was on top of a crane, like looking down, but like kind of perched like he does like as a spider, like kind of.
Right.
And like what, he just saw all the goons on the ground or whatever. But like when it looked up, it was like the moon was in the background. Like you could just see the big eyes and then like just the silhouette of them, and stuff like that. And I was like, ooh, I've never really thought of Spider-Man as scary before. But
I don't know, man. You watch a man crawl up a wall at you, do some of the shit that he does, specifically Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, the way he like crawls around a lizard like an actual spider. Like, yeah, man, that's something I certainly would not fuck with. But yeah, another fantastic costume designer there, and Deborah L. Scott. She's also James Cameron's costume designer, so she did Titanic and the Avatar movies. Costume design wise, she also did another one we'll be discussing soon for our Michael Mann spotlight. She did Heat, so I'm very, very excited for that. She did Back to the Future.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, a couple Spielberg ones. Got Minority Report in there. Transformers.
Ooh.
Transformers.
Yeah, that's a good honorable mention there. That's some impressive design there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like they were based off. I think they had like comics or like a TV show or something before, but they looked nothing.
I mean, like definitely based off of originally toys.
Yeah.
They started as toys, which is a rarity. Things don't typically start as toys and then evolve into other shit. But yeah, man, Transformers. That's a good one. But yeah, Deborah L. Scott's work on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that is easily my favorite Spider-Man costume as well, man. And there's a few great costume designs in that. I like Electro in it a lot. I think that Harry Osborn's costume design kind of it gets ragged on a lot, but I think it's incredibly original, and they obviously were trying to do something new. You can't just copy and paste what they did with Raimi, so you gotta try something original. And I think it works. I think it did a good job. But I mean, that Spider-Man suit's kind of undeniable. It's fucking gorgeous.
It is nice, and all of them do look great. Like, I mean, there's not really a Spidey suit that I hate.
No. I don't think so either. Yeah. In fact, my least favorite one's probably the black and gold one from No Way Home. I think when it's like turned inside out.
Like flipped inside out. Yeah, the tech inside. Yeah, that's true.
It's fine, but again, not like actively hating it. It's just is what it is. But that's a good one. That's a good top one. And my top one is going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show's Dr. Frankenfurter. The costume design there by Sue Blaine. Just a wonderful little, drag. It's it's Tim Curry dressed up in a tight corset up top, booty shorts and high-heeled boots, and just heavy makeup. And throughout them, he throws on multiple jackets and costumes and stuff, and it's just gorgeous work. I think that specifically when it comes to drag, you get a lot of opportunity to do some wonderful stuff costume wise. I almost went with Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, for this as well, simply because you got 3 drag queens in that movie who are fucking popping out every single fucking frame. So I think that but I wanted to go a little bit more horror influenced, and Rocky Horror Picture Show literally has horror in the title. So had to get it. Yeah, the transvestite from Transylvania, as he dubs himself.
Wow.
But yeah, wonderful, wonderful.
Just looking at pictures of it right now, and that is a point you brought up, like with drag, that it's already like over the top, so you can, like, expectations are just anything is like, yeah, that's a costume, like
anything goes, bro. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking of like just people, like celebrities that just have crazy costume design, like Lady Gaga, like thinking of like just
Always.
or like Madonna did as well, just like always did some crazy shit.
Early career Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, always popping out.
Yeah, I mean, man, fashion that would be kind of fun. It is kind of
oh, dude,
I guess like a rich person thing. And like it's always like, oh, this it's this designer or whatever, blah blah blah. But like that would be kind of fun to like design some clothes or
super cool
or, look or something like that. But
no, yeah. So I had to go Rocky Horror Picture Show there with Dr. Frankenfurter. I also just love Tim Curry in that movie. So that's my top 1 for costume design. You want to run us back through those 5 for you real quick?
Oh, yeah. 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
1 to 5. Let's do 1 to 5.
All right. I got 1, Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 specifically. 2, Darth Maul. 3, Sam Flynn. 4, The Green Goblin. And 5, Commodus.
I went with 1, Dr. Frankenfurter. 2, Darth Vader. 3, Tyler Durden of Fight Club. 4, Morpheus from The Matrix. And 5, Indiana Jones. And with that, we can move on to the occult. Let's fucking do this thing. Occult. The criteria here once again: witches, demons. The mystical side of horror. And doesn't have to be strictly horror. I think horror comes with the idea that it has to be scary. It has to be it has to be horrifying. And that helps when we're talking about it. But I had an honorable mention that fell just outside my top 5. Called The Witches of Eastwick, which isn't particularly scary by any means, but there are witches, and it's a fun fucking movie with Susan Sarandon, Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Jack Nicholson. Super fun fucking movie. Strongly recommend it. And Jack Nicholson, I'm pretty sure, plays fucking Satan. So like it's
wow, that sounds
super cool movie. Strongly recommend it. And unfortunately fell just outside my top 5 here, but yep, that's the criteria. So if you want to take us on in, you can start with your 5 and we can work our way up.
All right. Well, starting off is a movie that came out in 2011, and I really believe I probably saw this in 2011. I remember seeing it when I was young. Haven't seen it in quite some time, but I do remember like watching the movie initially and being like, oh yeah, it seems pretty classic. Just classic run-of-the-mill horror movie where a group of college teens go they're on fall break or some shit, and they're like, let's go stay at this cabin and just get drunk and, do whatever. We're in this cabin. We're in the middle of the woods, because that's a good idea.
Yep. Always got to be a cabin in the woods.
And it turns out, like, it's almost like I don't want to spoil the movie, because it's such a, like, kind of cool twist, like, where it goes. But it starts off with, like, some weird stuff happening around the cabin, stuff's not completely right. There's, this basement, very dark, creepy, and it's like, oh, we're scared, like, who's dumb enough to go check out the creepy basement in a cabin, so, like, they're very, like aware of themselves, to, like, in the movie, of, like, classic horror tropes and stuff like that. And then it turns out there's, like, massive surveillance over this. Like this cabin is like locked inside of almost like a Westview sort of environment, like WandaVision. It's like this force field around it, and in the basement there's this secret lab where there's just a shit ton of scientists like watching over this group of college kids, and they're like betting on how they will go or like what's going to happen to them during this trip.
Damn.
And in this basement they have like a wall full of monsters. I mean, just like any monster you could think of. Like Pokemon. I mean, it's not like Pokemon. Like, I'm trying to think of like an equivalent thing. You know, like in the Emoji Movie, I can't believe I'm going here, but there's just that massive wall and all of the emojis like inside of their own little cubicle thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Imagine that, but instead of emojis, just monsters. And every kind of monster you can imagine. I mean, like vampires, werewolves, zombies, just everything. And this creepy fucking like scientist kind of cult that they have going on, where they lure groups of people in and just bet how they're gonna go, and it doesn't go quite their way this time. Is how the movie ends. It's a very crazy, chaotic ending.
Okay.
Like dealing with like the fate of humanity, I believe, at the end. I'm pretty sure that is involved. I think the fate of humanity is on the line at the end. Chris Hemsworth is in here. So I remember I was looking at that and I'm like, wow, I don't remember Chris Hemsworth being in this movie at all. But
right.
But no, yeah, I can't believe I remember that much about the movie actually. I'm
impressed. No, that's fucking awesome, man. I'd never watched Cabin in the Woods. I was actually watching Bob's Burgers the other day, which is going to be my costume with Emily this year. We're going to be Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers, so I'm excited about that. But there's a part where Gene, the son in Bob's Burgers, is staying the night at a friend's house, and the friend wants to run away in the middle of the night. So he's like, I built us something in the woods. We're going to go out there and we're going to be out there. He's like, you built a cabin in the woods? Haven't you ever seen Cabin in the Woods? And he's like, no, I haven't. And he's like, neither have I, but the music in those trailers was scary. So like that's as big as my knowledge of Cabin in the Woods goes as well. Yeah. I remember being 11 when those, previews would come on between during commercials and just be like, oh man, that looks freaky. Yeah.
Well, I guess massive spoiler dump there. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes down. I think I have like 90% of it down pretty solid.
No, yeah, and here's the thing. I'm to a point now where spoilers don't really bother me. I'm more interested in how they do it than what they do, Yeah. Now I respect other people's wishes as far as spoilers are concerned, but and it again varies thing to thing, but I'm not too pressed about knowing a lot of what happens in Cabin in the Woods. I might go ahead and watch it at some point.
Yeah, okay. It is fun.
Like my 5, I'm not going to spoil for you because it is a wonderful legacy sequel to a movie I know you love. My 5 is Dr. Sleep from 2019, directed by Mike Flanagan, starring Ewan McGregor and Rebecca Ferguson. This is a legacy sequel to The Shining, and very, very important, and I think something that, a lot of people get hung up on is that, it's not trying to be The Shining. It's trying to expand on the mythology that The Shining kind of proposes for you. Like, you meet the gentleman who's working as the cook at the Overlook in The Shining, and him and Danny connect, and you realize, oh, it's more than just him. It goes into all the people who have the shine. Like it's like a bigger, grander universe, and it explains how the hotel's mechanics kind of work in that regard. Like it doesn't just shine. It wants to like eat. It wants to swallow your shine. It wants you to stay there so it has more power, is kind of the idea.
That's cool.
But it's really cool to see Ewan McGregor play an older Danny. This is also a cool legacy sequel where they just recast the roles of Wendy and Jack when they do like flashbacks and stuff, so that you don't get this like CGI monstrosity version of Jack Nicholson. But it's really cool to see, and I fucking love this movie. It's quite long. In fact, it's probably longer than it needs to be, but it's all engrossing, man. Like, I was never bored. I was always there for it. Yeah, there's you're dealing with Danny about 30 years older than he was
and he
in
goes
The Shining.
Back? He goes back to the hotel?
No, he doesn't. He does. That's an important part of the movie. There's a reason he goes back. It's not like he's just like, well, I'm going to go visit the site of my greatest trauma. Like it's like there is a purpose for going back. So like he does eventually go back, but I won't give that away. Rebecca Ferguson plays the like villain entity, and she operates on a similar level that the hotel does. She wants to.
Wow.
The way they prolong life is by swallowing other people's magic capabilities, basically. And it's super fun, dude. Like, it's an extremely fun movie, and it's not like Danny's all happy and shit now. It's like, well, a kid who dealt with that stuff when he was 9 probably won't grow up to be the happiest fucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude's an alcoholic, dude's having a rough go of it.
Makes sense.
I mean, inherits those traits from his father, like as far as the alcoholism and stuff. Like, he's, it's a very honorable legacy sequel, which I think that a lot of legacy sequels try to just bank on the nostalgia, where this, I feel like it's not trying to be The Shining, it's trying to build on what The Shining presents, and I think that's really cool. So I like it a lot. So I got Dr. Sleep at my 5 for the Occult.
Okay, moving on to 4. I have an interesting movie experience. That's kind of why it's up here. It's memorable. I don't know if it's because of the movie or how I viewed it, but it is The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis, and can't remember who else was in there.
Pretty sure it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan, by the way.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but when I was talking about it, the way I viewed it, my uncle, in his house, doing very well for himself, has a pretty nice. He got a movie theater installed in his basement. Pretty nice sound system in there as well. For some reason, the first movie we decide to watch, whenever it's all done, everything's set and finished. 8 people were invited. I was one of the 8, and we watched The Sixth Sense in here for the first time, and it was my first viewing of it. And I don't know, it was. I love me a good mind fuck of a movie. This
big
is
twist in this one.
Yeah, a twist that'll stick with me, or just that's very memorable.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't spoil for people, That's one of those, you hold on to that one.
Yeah, I gotta. And then kids are just creepy always. A little boy or a little girl, if they're in any movie that's somewhat of a thriller or horror-y at all, it's like you're just, I don't know. I'm always just on edge. Like, what are they like? What's their deal? Like, what? I don't. They just bring bad stuff all the time in horror movies. And I don't know, this kid's not too bad. I think it's more of like, I remember more of like them developing like this relationship over the movie. Actually, like it not actually being like the scariest movie. What's like really, it's actually pretty calm most of the time. But then, like, I don't even remember how they get to that twist. Like, I don't even remember how they arrive there, and how it is like this big moment where you're like, wait, well, you're like, what? You're like, what just happened here? Yeah, I don't know. It is one that I am hesitating to like even say like what happens, because it is like such a.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't either. Like, it's just all you need to say is that it's a good movie. It's a good Halloween-y vibe sort of movie, and it fits into the occult. It does fit into the occult. So like, You know roughly what you're getting into. But yeah, man. Bruce Willis at his peak, man, he was the shit.
Yeah.
I loved me some Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. No, Sixth Sense. That's one I need to watch.
I
I've never
know.
seen it. That's one that
Neither.
I know the twist ending
Ooh.
because of the song "Jizz in My Pants" by Lonely Island. Um,
Wow. Crazy.
well, and it's because
That's
I heard that song for the first
so.
time over 10 years ago. So it's not like
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was not like, oh fuck, now I can't watch The Sixth Sense. It's like
Yeah.
it's one that I've just always kind of known the ending of The Sixth Sense because of
Mhm.
that. So and I
What a
love me some M.
crazy.
Night. Bruce Willis and him have another great collaboration in Unbreakable. They did it's part of the Split
Yeah.
Glass
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah.
It's the
Mhm.
first one, and it has Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson. And man, that's a fucking good movie.
Hmm.
Takes the superhero sort of genre and flips it on its head a little bit. I think you'd enjoy it a lot.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, M. Night and Bruce Willis, a very, very strong duo there, and a Sixth Sense. I'll have to give that a watch at some point. But
Mhm. Yeah.
my 4, I move on to one of my favorite horror directors, maybe my favorite horror director of all time, with John Carpenter. And for the occult genre here, I'm going with In the Mouth of Madness, starring Sam Neill, famous for Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, he plays he's an insurance investigator. He, if you make a claim, he tries to find the authenticity in it and stuff. And the
Okay.
idea is that this horror writer, Sutton Kane, has released a new book titled In the Mouth of Madness. And when people read it, they lose their fucking mind. That's the whole thing.
Oh.
You read it and they go fucking nuts. But here's the thing. The company publishing this book does not have the full rights to release the next one because Sutton Kane is missing. So they're looking for the insurance claim to, manage to pay out, compensation for losing one of their writers, basically. So they have to go and find Sutton Kane. If they can find Sutton Kane, it proves that this investigation is a farce and they don't need to pay out. So that's his involvement in the story there. And where they go is a town from Sutton Kane's new book. They travel through this little mystical portal thing that is a little fucking freaky, and then they're there in this fictional town, and horror ensues. It's actually John Carpenter has a really fun knack for making horror movies that are unsettling, but they're not it's not making me fear for my fucking life while I'm sitting in bed, which makes it a lot more enjoyable in my opinion. Dude, it's a wonderful looking movie, a great score. Sam Neill, I like him in Jurassic Park, but I like him a lot more in The Mouth of Madness as a performer. He is so fucking good in this.
Yeah, I think I don't know why. I feel like I remember him in something else. I don't know. I feel like Peaky Blinders is ringing a bell, but I don't know. Maybe he's the inspector in Peaky. Yeah, he is. He's Major Campbell. Okay, that did ring a bell. Yeah, I don't know. I like him. In Peaky Blinders, I really liked him. He's just a really good performer. This would be cool. Seen him that long ago as well, 95 or 94. With this one, I like this.
No, man, I love me some In the Mouth of Madness, and love John Carpenter, and this was one of those ones where it's just so fucking good. Strongly recommend it. Probably not for everybody, but it was certainly for me, and I enjoy it a great deal. So, In the Mouth of Madness, there at 4 for me.
All right, 3. It's one we covered not too long ago, in our comic book journey project, and almost had something else. Right? It's not. Yeah, it did make it. So we'll give an honorable mention to Keanu, and Constantine was almost here. But I switched it out for Ghost Rider instead. and I still stand by this decision.
I would too.
Especially when we're talking Halloween type movies. I feel like Ghost Rider's more of the Halloween kind of movie I'm trying to watch rather than Constantine. Constantine's good. And that is a good another Satan performance that's pretty cool and unique. That you don't really see a whole lot. I don't know. It is a cool movie, but Ghost Rider's just like it's also cool. Like at the same, like I don't know, Ghost Rider's just cool. And what's his name? Sam Elliott. God damn it, Sam Elliott in this movie. I don't know.
That was my last ride.
I don't get it. I still don't understand. Really, why?
Nick fucking Cage, baby.
Yeah. Oh,
Nick fucking Cage. Whoa.
Yeah. Dude's just made a deal with the devil, but then just tried to keep dying pretty much, just doing stunts. Where he's like, well, I know I can't die, so like might as well. Might as well just become the best stuntsman of all time.
Why not?
And then gets a little something more.
Just a little bit. I mean, the Ghost, another character design that you could really make a lot before the Ghost Rider is slick.
Swoop, whoop. The double loop around
shoulders.
Yeah. God, dude, the fucking what's it called? The stare.
The penance stare.
The penance stare, dude. That's terrifying. Like I'd rather get beaten up or like shot or I don't know, like normal. But like that, I feel like that's like it's like painful times 1,000. I don't know. I feel like you're going through a hellish experience, all in those seconds. So yeah, that's scary. But yeah, no, you're right. That's a costume design that might have deserved it. His whole everything, the bike, he can ride up buildings on that shit, dude. I mean, like straight up, literally. Just right on glass, doesn't matter. Busting all those windows open.
Matter.
The chain
doesn't
whip
fucking matter.
Yeah, he can change anything into Ghost Rider tech.
He can Ghost Riderify it.
Yeah, he can. He just Ghost Riderified a shotgun.
Pimp.
Like it didn't have any ammo left, so he's like, Ghost
Before
Rider.
you ask, your bike's okay.
Yeah, he knew that'd be the first.
And also, last night did happen. Love Sam Elliott, dude. Sam, like an extremely memorable movie. Now that I've watched it again, and also extremely enjoyable. I know that people are gonna be like, Ghost Rider, what the fuck, man? No, Ghost Rider, bro. Yes. That shit is awesome. Like I love that movie.
It fucked, dude. I don't know. It was. I was expecting it to be so bad because that was my first time ever watching it. Like I've only heard really bad things about it, and I'm like, what are people on? I mean, like, sure, it's no Godfather, but like, come on, it's
critically, it is fair to say the movie's not very good. But as far as turn your brain off, have some fun entertainment, you can't get much better than that, especially comic book movie wise, man. Like, it is so fucking fun. I have a great time with Ghost Rider, so. I love that pick there. I did almost try to slide Constantine in here, but it felt wrong putting it over Dr. Sleep. I like Dr. Sleep a lot. And Constantine's got some great horror adjacent stuff with the demons and sending the entities back to hell and stuff. Like that's all very good and fun. But yeah, man, Ghost Rider. I love Nick Cage, man. Never gonna hear me knocking Nick Cage. That man's the shit. So love that
perfect
pick.
Role for him as well.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Johnny Blaze. Yeah, he's having a good fucking time, man. I might watch that movie again tonight, just fucking because. We're talking all about all these fucking movies, and the one I'm like, you know what I might watch tonight is fucking Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
No, I am watching Fight Club tonight. I have to.
Yeah,
but
is it? Hour 50 minutes, Ghost Rider.
Might be a tad long. Could have been 20 minutes shorter. But it is what it is. No, it's a great pick. That's a great pick. And at my 3, I'm going with one of a great director, Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, we've already given him some love for Spider-Man, But my favorite Sam Raimi trilogy is the Evil Dead trilogy.
I've seen these posters. I haven't seen the movies, but man, these posters are, I don't
Oh,
know, very
dude.
memorable for some reason.
The Evil Dead is, I mean, Sam Raimi just went into the fucking woods and made a movie with his homies. And that's all the first Evil Dead movie is. Like, it is truly, it is indie film out the ass. There's hardly any budget behind it, and it shows, but it's fucking awesome for that reason. It's so original. I go with Evil Dead 2 for my pick of my favorite Evil Dead movie. But it's kind of, I'm kind of slotting it in here as a representative of the entire Evil Dead original trilogy. I've never watched any more of the Evil Dead movies, but I fucking love Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams. An incredible performance there. In Evil Dead 2, he gets to shine by himself pretty much the whole movie. In the first one, he rides up there with like a group of friends, and they slowly get picked off because the woods come to life, and it's they find a recording that's they find a recording and the Book of the Dead, which is bound by human skin, and it's real fucked up. It's real gross, and they like open it, they start playing a recording, and this guy recites an incantation that brings to life the Deadites, which are basically demons. It's just like it's an essence, it's not like zombies are crawling out of the ground and stuff. It's like it's a spiritual thing, and it engulfs the house, it engulfs the woods outside. It's fucking gnarly, man. There's a scene in the first one that's pretty graphic. As far as I mean, there's a few scenes that are pretty graphic, but like a wow, you took it there sort of thing. In the first one, but the second one, it's so funny because it opens with like here's what happened in the first one, and it's like absolutely not what happened in the first one. It's just like they like basically retconned it to where it was only Ash and his girlfriend who went out there, and the other two people who went with them like never existed in the second one. But I love that Sam Raimi was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just say that it was like I don't know the choice behind that, but I'm here for it. Nah, man, it's a fun franchise.
To see the first one, maybe, I don't know. Like, he's like, here's what happened. Just trust,
And I won't tell you how this happens, but the third one, Ash is in medieval times. It's called Army of Darkness. Naturally, he gets, he ends up in the medieval times. And he's fighting Deadites alongside knights. He's been like prophesied to return to this time. He's like not a god to these people, but yeah.
I don't know. It seems that seems like where the trilogy would go. If
you were to ask
me randomly, yeah, medieval times probably is where I'm going. Wow, then that's incredible.
I love the Evil Dead movies, and if you love Sam Raimi, and I know you do, you will love the Evil Dead movies. Like and that one, the third one is called Army of Darkness. The first two is Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. There are a lot of people who watch Army of Darkness not even knowing it's Evil Dead 3, and I think it kind of stands on its own that way, in a fun way. But you do get a lot more if you watch Evil Dead 2 with it back to back. But nah, man, I love the Evil Dead trilogy, so I had to give it some love here. So Evil Dead 2 at 3.
Okay. Well, number 2, we've kind of been talking about it a little bit with your number 5. I have the original, the OG here, The Shining. I have here for me at number 2.
Ooh, that's at your 2. Okay.
Originally was at number 1, and then I came to my senses, and you'll see why, obviously, a little bit later. But The Shining is probably one of my favorite just horror vein movies of all time. It's just it's a horror movie that's actually just well made at the same time, and
right.
There's just so much suspense building the entire time of the movie. And now after hearing that little Dr. Sleep talk, I'm very intrigued by that movie and wanting to know what's going on with this hotel, because that's what the first one leaves you thinking. You're like, wait a minute, what? You're like, I mean, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. You're like, what's going on here? And then that picture at the end, and you're like, hold the phone. You're like, what did I just watch?
That's kind of hilarious. I will tell you, Dr. Sleep does nothing to answer any questions from the first Shining.
Well, I guess it does get you to like at least expand your horizons.
Oh yeah. No, and that's why I loved it so much, is that Mike Flanagan respected Kubrick's vision for The Shining so much that he was like, I'm not even really gonna touch that. That movie does not require a sequel. It never needed one.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking good, dude. The Shining is just incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's changed for me over the years a little bit. I've gone back and forth between loving this movie and just it's not really that I ever don't like it. It's just I go on phases of it, I guess. I'll forget about it for a little bit and then I'll watch it and I'll be reminded like, oh man, I forgot how much I love this movie. And I don't know, I think it's probably my favorite Jack Nicholson performance that there is. I like him in The Departed. He's all right, but I think here he gets to shine a little.
Definitely
bit more.
Better than his Joker. I like his Joker, but
Joker was all right. But I think I don't know. That's probably only the main 3 performances I have from him.
Satan and the Witches of Eastwick. So got to check that out. Super fun movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, Kubrick, a director that is a love-hate kind of for me. I like his movies, but not I don't know, seemed like a weird kind of guy. And a lot of people think The Shining is proof that he did the moon landing videos because little what's Danny? Yeah, little Danny's wearing an Apollo sweatshirt.
Right.
And room 237, the distance from the Earth to the moon in miles, 100,000, times 100,000. So I guess, I don't know, you have to make that stretch. But that's enough for people to say Kubrick's the one who did it. He's showing off in The Shining. But I think I don't know. I think that's probably just, it's like someone wearing a NASA shirt. A lot of people wear NASA shirts that have nothing to do with NASA at all.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a logo that looks cool. So, but anyways.
No, I love The Shining, man. That's a great fucking pick. I need to rewatch that before Halloween's through, because I haven't rewatched it in a little bit. Oh, it absolutely. Well, and it's also interesting, like, it's got that timelessness to it as well. You can watch The Shining at any point in the year. There are certain horror movies like, Halloween, that it feels only right to watch it around Halloween. But like The Shining, you can watch that. That feels like a winter.
Yeah.
Winter scary movie.
That's when it goes down too.
Yeah.
Yeah, blizzard. Oh yeah. That'd be perfect. But yeah. At number 2 though, was almost at number 1. But not quite.
Another one that we me and Joe, full transparency, had to, we worked out some trades so that we didn't have any overlap.
I can't believe I got this one. I'm ecstatic. This is the best. I won. I didn't care about any other trade we had. This is the only one.
You had to get it. But in the meantime, I will go with my 2. I'm really excited about a bunch of first watches. I've watched a lot of horror movies for the first time this year, and I'm falling in love with a genre that I've always been too much of a wimp to take part in. So I'm very happy to be, finally diving in and enjoying the shit out of it, man. So at 2 for the occult, I have 1977's Suspiria, directed by Dario Argento.
This looks
an Italian filmmaker there. Dude, I watched this and immediately fell in love. It's just photographed fucking beautifully. I love the lighting. It's always so, like, the color your room is in the camera right now. It's like, that's like the vibe the whole fucking time, but like different red, yellow, orange, just bright color lights, but it's always used in an unsettling manner. It's this mystery that's unraveling before this dance student. She's going off to her name's Susie Banyan. She's an American going to Europe for for dance training. You know, she's going to learn in Germany to attend an academy for ballet dancing, and there is something horribly evil lurking within this academy. And it's got some graphic kills, pretty brutal murders. It's also considered something of a slasher. But there's clearly a demonic possession thing going on as well. So I figured it could classify under occult. You know, there's witches and a coven and this whole thing. So there's a lot of overlap, but man, there's a remake of this movie from a couple years back that I really want to watch, because apparently Luca Guadagnino really did his own thing with it and didn't just bite this. He, again, like Dr. Sleep, took the original material and built upon it instead of trying to just leech it for what it's worth. And so I'll have to check that out. But man, the original Suspiria, an ear-piercing soundtrack that's just probably my favorite horror movie soundtrack of all time. So well done. So you got to check out Suspiria.
The word means
so good.
Sighs or mother of sighs. Does that make sense for the movie? Like a sigh, like like SIGH, S.
Ish, yeah, I could see it applying. But
that's Latin if it's coming from Latin. But I guess maybe it's Italian, possibly. I was just wondering. It seemed like the word translated to something. It could just be that they made up the word completely for the movie. But I was curious. From Italian, yeah, it looks nope, just Suspiria, not Italian. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just a word that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Because I can't even really remember if that word is even said during the movie, or if it's just like that's the name of the movie. Yeah, I only watched this once a few weeks back, and I fucking loved it immediately. So I had to get it involved here. So I got Suspiria at 2 for the occult.
Well, it is an honor to have it on my side and to be the one to talk about it. Probably the best occult, probably the best horror, probably the best thriller, probably the best film ever made in our time. Came out in 2002. If you've been a fan for the show, I guess for a little bit, you would know what I'm talking about. But in case you don't, it's 2002, Scooby-Doo.
Ruby?
With our classic gang, you know. I mean, Spooky Island.
Roinks.
Scrappy-Doo. The plot twist that we have there. The cult that they run with these demon dogs. Dude,
monsters.
What do you even call them? What are those things? And how many times did they haunt your nightmares as a kid?
They were pretty fucked up. I
didn't like the look of them. And the way
either.
they died, too, was also
pretty
kind
gruesome.
Of, yeah, they're just like blowing up and with light, you know. But at least we get some nice moments to quiet the mood down with Scooby. That's why it's so good, is because, you know, you can't be scared, and on the edge of your seat, you know, when you're going through that castle, that roller coaster, you know, that they're kind of going through, and then they get weird food all over them. And
they get tied to the wall with the meat, and he's like, "We got to do what we've always been good at, Scoob."
Yup.
With that ruggy.
And it's, you know, it gets scary, but also you have a lot of good laughs in there. A classic memory I have of fun. I thought this was the funniest scene of all time when I was growing up. When they were hiding in the vases, whenever they were like, I don't know, like escaping, and then Shaggy, I think it's Shaggy.
Shaggy rips ass.
Just lets out the longest fucking fart in the vase, and the echo of it, you know, is just the reverberation is so profound. I don't know, amazing. I thought that was the funniest shit of all time. Farts, you couldn't really get funnier than farts.
No.
When I was growing up, farts are still funny now. I often like it's weird, like when you're scrolling through TikTok and stuff nowadays. There's stuff that make you laugh internally, but make no. You still have a stone cold face, but you laugh in your brain. Yeah,
you do the slight nose exhale.
There's a nose exhale. that's another level. And then there's one that, a chuckle. And then there's some that actually get you to, like,
Sometimes
really
they just fucking make me double over,
And
man.
man, god damn it, farts are like it's pretty consistent, Like, if it's an out of nowhere fart, like, I mean, it's probably gonna get me. But, no, Scooby-Doo. This is, talk about costume design as well. This is a costume design that has lived through the ages, through animation into live action.
Decades and decades.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No.
I mean, they look perfect. And not gonna lie, like, as for 2002, the CGI on Scooby is actually kind of nuts.
It's actually fucking incredible.
And like, even the Well of Souls, like that thing, like it looked movie. I mean, obviously
when their faces go flying around and into the other bodies, and they have to like switch and everything. Like,
ooh,
I love that shit.
Velma's body or whatever. He's like, oh, gross, get out. Yeah, it's like, oh, ew, oh man, classic. I mean, so much in that movie, that goes down. But Spooky Island, I mean, I wish that was real, man. I wish we could go to a spooky island, take down Scrappy-Doo, punt him off the Golden Gate Bridge, obviously having Darth Vader waiting at the bottom, perfectly in position for Scrappy-Doo to be impaled, ass first, on his lightsaber. As we all know is the best way for Scrappy to go out.
Oh, of course. If there's any one way that I would pick for him to go out, it'd be that. Man, when I would do this podcast high, we took it some crazy fucking places.
We did. We indeed did. And we did. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I left out any details of the punt.
No, punted off the Golden Gate Bridge, impaling himself on Darth Vader's saber.
I think that was it.
I think that's it.
Don't remember how that came up.
The 52-year journey through film is an odd time in the podcast's history.
We don't really know what happened.
It's all kind of a blank fucking. Yeah. It just kind of occurred,
Yeah, I just kind of snapped out of it.
Well, it's always kind of bizarre to think about how we started that over 2 years ago. And to think about how different of a viewer I am of movies than I was then.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre to think about, but
yeah.
Man, yeah, but that's a great one. That's a great one, and I'm going to go ahead and top off my Occult with what is pretty universally considered one of the greats in horror movies, and I'm going The Exorcist, 1973, directed by William Friedkin. And this is just a classic that I finally got around to watching for the first time within the last month. And I have no doubts about it that this is probably my favorite horror movie of all time. Occult movies are my favorite genre of horror. I love the demons and witches and shit like that. Like, that's the mystical horror stuff. Probably my favorite. Undead is right there, though, and so is Monsters. So I love all the shit. So, what am I talking about? But Max von Sydow and Linda Blair and Lee Cobb, just a wonderful cast, directed expertly by Friedkin, rest in peace, passed earlier this year. Wonderful, wonderful director. And what's fascinating is that, in 73, I'm sure this was the scariest movie of all time. It's aged to a point where it's not quite as frightening as it was at one point. But that's not even the point of the movie that gets me there, man. It's the heart of it. Like, it had a surprisingly poignant message about faith in there that I just did not anticipate from it. Like, the power of Christ compels you. Like, that whole, like, that's not just something they say to get the demon out of there. Like, I had no idea how bound by, secular desires and heavenly bodies and everything that this movie was. It's a wonderful analyzation of a crisis of faith brought on by a literal fucking demon. You know, like when a demon emerges, how does that shake you as a, you know, because exorcisms are performed by preachers and priests and stuff. So
yeah,
to
yes.
watch them deal with it, and the culmination of that movie, probably one of the strongest endings of a film I've ever seen. So like,
I don't know. You've definitely talked it up enough where I'm definitely going there. I've always stayed away from The Exorcist. I don't know why. I think it's one thing that I don't know. Just seeing a body contort like that and crawl up on on the ceilings and shit. Like I don't know how much that's in the first one.
Doesn't do a lot of that. You know, she does the floating stuff. You know, that's
Okay.
more her bag in this. She
that
floats off the bed when they're trying to, you know, there's not a ton of body horror. There's some ugly shit in it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be like it's perfectly clean. No, there's some nasty stuff in it. But
Now,
it's
gotta have a little bit of nightmare fuel, you know.
Oh yeah, and it's certainly there, you know, like I don't want to undersell it as a scary movie. It is certainly scary. It's just and maybe I'm just getting a higher tolerance to scary movies. You know,
Yeah.
I'm talking about it like it's not as scary as it was once to me, but like there's not a lot that's that scary to me anymore.
Okay.
But there's still stuff that gets my blood fucking pumping. And The Exorcist was right there on the edge. Like there were parts that really, really got me there, but most of it is just kind of being in awe of the craft of it. Like that has one of the most iconic shots in all of film, and seeing it within context is just like, I know the shot is coming. I know it's gorgeous. And it's the shot of the Exorcist pulling up, getting out of the car under the street lamp, you know, seeing it within context, you just get chills just because it's just like, oh, it's about to fucking go down, you know? And I think that, you know, so many horror movies get so wrapped up in the idea of where they want to go that they don't spend the time necessary to get there. Like the little girl played by Linda Blair isn't possessed by a demon for like 30 to 40 minutes of this movie's runtime. Like, it's heartbreaking to see her become what she becomes. It's not just like, oh, well, there's a demon possessing a little girl. That fucking sucks. Like, no, you get to know this little girl. You get to know the relationship she has with her mom. And that stuff is just, it really, like, I fucking love The Exorcist. So like, I cannot recommend it enough, and it had to top my list here for The Occult.
Nice. There we are. We got them.
But yeah, let's run back through that 1 to 5. What are your occult movies?
We got 1, The Almighty Scooby-Doo. 2, The Shining. 3, Ghost Rider. 4, The Sixth Sense. And 5, Cabin in the Woods.
Alrighty. I went 1, The Exorcist. 2, Suspiria. 3, Evil Dead 2, 4, In the Mouth of Madness, and 5, Dr. Sleep. On to the next. Undead. Now these movies, you know, it's a broad category. We had to kind of broaden these things out so that we could fit as many of these movies as we could possibly do, you know. Undead includes the likes of vampires, zombies, mummies, you could argue Frankenstein, you know, all sorts of shit. So it's a pretty all-encompassing category. But we're going to try and pick top 5 undead movies. If you would like to kick us off, what you got at 5 for me?
At 5, it is a familiar movie to the podcast already. We covered it in the comic book Journey Through Film. And I guess I haven't watched it, but I think this is one on the list that I will get around to, just because it is that it is the time of year to watch. And this Undead, they are vampires, and it is Blade from 1998. And I don't know, it's a movie that I didn't expect to fully get into whenever we were getting around to it on the project, and then I just kind of realized how fun it was whenever I was watching it. Like I've never been one for like vampire killing or or demon slaying. You know, I don't know. Like, it's cool, but like Wesley Snipes made it look fucking sick as fuck. Like, his kit was so cool. What's the is it Whistler? Yeah, I don't know. I just love.
Yeah, Chris Christopherson.
Oh man, I love a good just man in the chair. But he's more action.
Yeah, he's even more badass than your typical man in the chair.
Yeah, he's got it all.
Yeah, no, man, the Daywalker Blade. No, it's just a great fucking character, man, and a super fun fucking movie. One that I need to watch here probably tonight, if I'm being for real.
Yeah,
love me. So I'm a big fan of vampires, and I love vampire hunting. So I got a little bit of vampire action in here. Of my 5, only one of them is a vampire movie, which feels weird to say, but it won't be where I start. But
guess I have 2. I
uh-huh.
thought I would have more. You know, initially I would have thought I would have had more vampire than anything else. But I guess I don't know. I mainly know like Vampire Diaries, the Netflix
Twilight.
Show. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Twilight, not terrible, but like
no, not by any means. But I get you.
Yeah, wasn't gonna quite make the list here, but Blade did sneak its way in here. I don't know. I do like Blade enough.
It's super fucking fun.
Yeah,
dude.
like
another one of those.
I'll be revisiting it. You know, it's not like it might be a yearly kind of watch. It might just kind of be
around this time of year. You know, like why not throw on Blade? It's a fun enough movie. You know, the bloodbath at the beginning, the shower thing. You know, like the what are those called?
Sprinklers.
Yeah, sprinklers.
Yeah.
Don't know why I couldn't fucking think of that word, but
sometimes
yeah, man.
Yeah, that just happens. But yeah, Blade. Good old vampire
with. Yeah, love that. I'm gonna take us in with my only Frankenstein movie of the undead category. You know, I kind of cheated on this one. You could throw Frankenstein movies in a monster. You could throw them in an undead. I happen to love Frankenstein, so I threw them in both. And at 5, this is a pretty controversial one. Not one that a lot of people love. Kind of considered one of the lesser Frankenstein adaptations, but I disagree wholeheartedly. It's 1994's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring Kenneth Branagh, and you will know Kenneth Branagh from Christopher Nolan fame. He's in Tenet as the main bad guy, and he's in Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, and
with a different accent every time.
Yes, indeed. He also directed the first Thor movie. So very, very, very talented director. And I think he got his notoriety by directing Shakespeare adaptations. He did Henry V and Much Ado About Nothing and all this stuff. So when it came time for him to do a Frankenstein adaptation, he really played it up. There's just a ridiculous amount of production value, and I fucking love it's so over the top and beautiful looking. It's a gorgeous movie to look at. And Robert De Niro plays the monster. He plays Frankenstein's monster, and Kenneth Branagh plays Dr. Frankenstein himself. One with Helena Bonham Carter as well. She plays Elizabeth, the love interest of Dr. Frankenstein. There's a weird thing they do with that storyline that, you know, I try to ignore whenever I'm thinking about this movie, but it is what it is. No, man, I had a great fucking time watching this movie. I love the story of Frankenstein, and I love the way that this monster, Bob De Niro plays him he gains a lot more intelligence a lot quicker, and he's much more vengeful and articulate. He can speak to Dr. Frankenstein, and I appreciate adaptations a lot more where Dr. Frankenstein is straight up fucking nutty, straight up evil, like he is the bad guy. They try to, the story sympathizes with him a lot more in this, and I think it suffers for it critically. But man, is it a fun fucking movie to watch? Is it a good movie to look at? It's a gorgeous fucking movie, man. I love Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, so that's what I got at my 5.
Yeah, we were talking Frankenstein a little bit. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And it hit me that I've just never seen a Frankenstein movie ever before. But then I realized, I'm like, wait, how do I just know the story of Frankenstein a little, I guess just that he's
Iconic
created,
character.
like, I guess his creation,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, that's what I
It's
know.
alive!
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
alive! That whole fucking thing.
But then you telling me, like, what the story's actually about. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's actually like a kick-ass
Yeah,
story
by nature,
right
a pretty decent guy.
there.
But it's everyone's perception of him being a monster kind of turns him
Oh,
into the monster they
like,
see him as.
whoa. I never thought of Frankenstein like that before, but now I see why it's being told over and over and over. And
It's it's a timeless story too, man. Like
in respect on Mary Shelley for trying to change it up a little bit and go for something that wasn't just sticking with what worked before.
No, yeah, I mean, well, Mary Shelley, she wrote the fucking book. She wrote Frankenstein. That's originally
It's not even
her shit. That's the
Is
name of the movie, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but it's directed by Kenneth Branagh. So Kenneth Branagh does tries
Kenneth
to
Branagh directs it too.
yeah.
He's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He did a lot of that. He directs and stars in his movies. He also directed the most recent Hercule Poirot movies, The Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile and A Haunting in Venice. He plays the main detective and directed all three of those movies. He loves doing that. Loves doing that. But yeah, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Threw it at 5 there for me.
All right. Well, I'm bringing it back to the oldest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It came out in 1958. And then you recommended me one that'll probably smash that record even further. I think it was 30. Was it 31?
31 and 32, yeah.
Oh my god. But as of right now, it is just 1958. And this is the horror of Dracula. My first Dracula movie I've ever seen, actually. And it's with my boy. Like, I can't believe it's taken me this long to see it. But Christopher Lee up in here as Dracula was super awesome just to see him younger. I've only seen him as Count Dooku.
Right.
And that's it. And like just seeing him here, I guess like is this his prime? Like in his career, or is this like early going?
Probably. No, I mean like he's 40 or 50 come this time. Like he's still an older man.
So this might even be later in his career. Like maybe has he already been through his prime, and this is like, well, yeah, he's got to be Dracula. Like this is fucking Christopher Lee.
Let's see. He was 36. He was about to turn 40. So I'm overselling him there age wise, but no, it's about he was very, very, very busy around this time in his career. So you could argue that his prime acting career wise was the late 90s, early 2000s as he booked Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and all that shit. So
true. Yeah. Wow. Man's just a legend. But I don't know, the movie was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was it definitely is pretty campy at points, but I don't know, I thought it made it more enjoyable. Like especially like I didn't know how they were going to go about killing Christopher Lee. I'm like, how do you even kill that man? He is Dracula as well. Dude's just going around town just sipping blood out of people. But I don't know, like the effects of like his leg like slowly going and like just like turning into this old like
right.
Like this, like how old is this dude? Because like, what's his name? The guy who goes in there first, the writer that goes in there first.
Harkin or Harker?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Jonathan Harkin or Harker?
Yeah. And like he going in there first and talking to him like, I'm gonna bring an end, to Dracula or whatever. He was gonna try to kill him or whatever. But he kills the girl first, and then it shows like whenever she withers away, it shows like how old she is.
Right.
But Dracula like turns into like dust already. Like that dude was fucking ancient. I don't know. I just it was crazy seeing a movie just made in that time. Anyways, like in the 50s.
Right.
I've never seen that, so that was crazy. And I just love the like how like the outfits of everyone and like the sets were really cool as well. I don't know, I love the idea of having like a pocket in your suit for your diary, and then you have this little like pen and quill box, or ink and quill box thing that you just carry everywhere you go, and you can just, I don't know, that's how you, I guess if you're a writer, you'd want it to be kind of nice, or there's no way pens weren't like a thing. Or did this take place? Was this taking place in the present day or like back? Wait, I guess I didn't even pay attention to that. Is this like...
No, it's definitely older than 1950.
Yeah, I'm like,
setting.
no fucking shot. Wait, like, what am I talking about? There's no way that's in the 50s. Okay. Okay, then yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking. But it's just nice to... I always love that sort of like people watching in movies, I guess, of like, wow, that is how life like used to be at one point.
Yeah, no, there's... it's like, I love this movie, man. I watched this earlier today, actually, and it was my second viewing. I watched it around this time last year, and it's so fun. You know, Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, also super cool. I love that in the Hammer film productions with these two, directed by Terrence Fisher, it's always like Cushing's always like the humanoid good guy. I mean, when you get to the Frankenstein movie, he's Dr. Frankenstein, and they play him up as a nut, so it's a little different there. But you know, it's always Christopher Lee playing Dracula or Frankenstein's monster or the Mummy or whatever the fuck, and I absolutely love that. That's so cool. And him as Dracula, probably his most notable little role there. As far as the performance he gets to put on, because I love him in this, man. He has a great time.
I don't know. What is there like something in vampire magic that makes you want to get bitten by them and shit? Or like, was that girl, she was just like, I don't know, was she just kind of into that? You know, that like, left all the, left her windows open and everything for him to like come in, suck her blood, and then like they even got like in a doctor be like, yeah, no, she just needs water or she needs sleep, whatever. And then like, what's his name? Is it Peter Cushing's character, the
Van Helsing?
Yeah, he comes in and is like, oh no, you need to close the windows, you need garlic, you need, and all that shit, you know. And then she just couldn't take it anymore. Because, she was turning into a vampire?
Yeah, she wanted to be taken away by Dracula.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. I don't know why. It seemed to me that, like, because then she just... Wait, but then... Yeah, she just died, though. Like, she didn't turn into a vampire, right?
No, she comes back after she died.
Wait a minute. Am I just... Maybe I... Did I not... Is it, like, very fast? Like, that she comes back, or like...
No,
like,
it's a little later in the movie. That little girl's running around outside. She's like, and then my aunt, she came up to me and da-da-da-da-da. And...
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. I can't believe I didn't put those two together. I just thought...
Same chick.
I just thought that she just died, and, like, they were, like, in grieving, you know, because, like, they're like, you've already done enough damage to us, just leave us alone, you know, or, like...
Yeah, right.
Or whatever. Okay, wow. Okay. Well, that's insane. I don't know. I think that's the thing. I think I'm gonna watch it like again. It was an hour and 22 minutes or something like that. That's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
that
super
was like,
easy watch. No, and it's so fun, man. Like, it's that campy classic horror movie shit, and Hammer Film Productions is so fucking good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just wonderfully, just gory enough for the time that it was like racy. But it's not so gory that it's like, I mean, it's nothing now. You know what I'm saying? Like but at the time it was like, oh, wow. Oh, my stars and garters.
That's crazy. No, I love the like recording, like he recorded himself talking, or maybe, yeah, I think it was just himself. He was just playing.
Yeah, because the guy walks in, he's like, I could have swore you were talking to yourself. And he was like, could have swore you were talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, I was talking to myself.
Yeah, and he's just vampires, or like, I don't know, it's all the stereotypical
rules of vampires.
You know? Yeah.
They were allergic to sunlight.
Yeah.
They are repelled by the smell of garlic. The crucifix is an important weapon. Yeah.
Fatal. I repeat, fatal.
Fatal.
Or,
Yeah.
like I love how like he was just I don't know. It was so much fun the whole time.
No,
So
super fun movie, man.
I'm gonna come back. I'm glad I have that in my Christopher Lee repertoire now.
Yeah. He's got a few great ones, man. I strongly recommend digging through the other Hammer film horror movies. But
well, these are fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I mean he played Dracula like 8 or 9 times. There are so many movies with him as Dracula.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, there's a ton of them, but it's the only one I've watched with him. But I plan on digging through that with Peter Cushing as Van Helsing and all that, because there's a sequel called like Brides of Dracula, and then there's one where it's like Dracula Returns or whatever the fuck. But it's super cool.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a goodie. I'm going with a classic as well, but I'm going a little further back by about 25 years, back to 1932 for my next one. I went with The Mummy, directed by Karl Freund. And this was a difficult one. I had both The Mummies. I had The Mummy starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, which is kind of just an extended adaptation of it's kind of to this movie what Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is to the original 1931 Frankenstein. But I had to go with the OG. Boris Karloff as Imhotep, the Mummy. Just this is probably easily my favorite of the Universal monster movies. They did Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, etc. I haven't seen The Invisible Man, and I plan to watch that here soon. But man, this is just stylish as all hell for the time. It's a beautiful looking movie. The makeup is outstanding, and Boris Karloff is just fantastic in that titular role for the Mummy here.
Man, I didn't even know there was an original to the Mummy. I thought that's just what it was.
Oh yeah, I mean, like most of the Mummy that you hear, like even in the Brendan Fraser movie, it's like the Mummy Imhotep and what he did. Like it's an adaptation of that same story where he falls in love, because he's like a priest for the pharaoh, and he falls in love with the queen or like the pharaoh's wife or something, and she picks him, and he gets killed, but he doesn't get killed. He gets, there's the possession within him. He may rise one day, super cool stuff. And this one's only an hour and 10 minutes. Super easy watch. And like I said, I think this one's the most satisfying looking of those Universal. Frankenstein gives it a little bit of its run for its money, and I'll get to that at some point during this as well. But yeah, man, The Mummy, super fun movie, and I love Boris Karloff. He also plays Frankenstein in the Frankenstein one, so very, very, very cool. And I love this one. I'm probably going to watch this again as soon as I can. But The Mummy, yeah, that's what I got it for.
Okay. Moving on. This is one I haven't seen in a while, but after learning who the fucking main actor is, again, like this is how long it's been. It's made me want to rewatch it so much. But I knew this was one of my favorite zombie movies that there is. And it's 28 Days Later.
Killian.
Yeah, the boy, the man right now. Just a blue-eyed fucking handsome devil. I guess that's more Leo right now.
Yeah, these days.
But no, I can't believe that this is Killian.
It's Cillian Murphy, directed by Danny Boyle, right? He did Train Spotting and
shit.
Yeah, man, like that's a
Slumdog.
Yeah, man. Like that's a
millionaire.
That's a fucking movie right there. It's huge blind spot for me. I want to watch that so fucking bad.
Yeah, I mean honestly, it would pretty much be a first watch again. But I just remember I love, like, there's one later on the list that is like this movie, but even more, like, even better for me. But if it's any apocalyptic sort of scenario, I'm like kind of automatically in. It's just, I would never want the world to get like that, obviously, and that's why I'd rather to watch it in a movie.
Right.
and for it to not happen in real life. But no, it's man, I really got to go back and see how Killian does with this and watching
Because
it.
isn't that movie like '02 or something? Like, isn't it
Yeah,
so like?
2002. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man, that's an old fucking movie. And to see that Cillian Murphy is just now hitting his stride as like an A-list
Dude,
actor is
he
kind of
doesn't.
crazy.
Looking at this like footage of the movie, he like does not even look like he does. Like he looks young. Like it's
That's a
crazy.
baby Cillian
Yeah.
Murphy. Yeah,
Oh my
man. No, I
god.
love that. I desperately need to watch that. I might try to find a way to get that
Mm.
rolling because like I said, huge blind spot. I love the director. I love the actors.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it'd be right up my alley. I love zombie movies. Like my
Yeah.
top 2 are both zombie movies. My 3 is
Mm-hmm.
about to be my vampire movie, but I
Yeah.
fucking love zombie movies, man. So I'll have to give that a watch soon.
Yeah. I only have zombie from here on out. I guess I favor the zombie
Oh,
genre.
dude, zombie movies are the best undead movies, man. I
Yeah.
love zombie movies, but I'm gonna stop off with my favorite vampire movie. Apparently, didn't really think about that. This being like, this means it's my favorite vampire movie, and
Yeah.
I gave you Dracula, so
Yeah.
I'll probably it's up there with that. But this is where I have 1996's From Dusk Till Dawn, directed by Robert Rodriguez, starring George Clooney, Harvey Keitel, and Quentin Tarantino.
Wow.
Also
Wow.
Salma Hayek. Just a fucking electrically fun movie. So active, and Robert Rodriguez has such a knack for body horror and campiness, and he was the showrunner for the Book of Boba Fett, and seeing him in his earlier days trying to capture this I mean, for the first half of the movie, if I didn't know this was a vampire movie going into it, the vampire twist would be fucking nuts. Like, it's a 2-hour movie, or not a 2-hour movie, like an hour and 40-minute movie.
Wow.
And there's not a vampire in it until like 55 minutes into the fucking thing. Maybe a full fucking hour in. The whole thing is that George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino are brothers. And they're on the run because they've been committing a series of robberies. They've left a wake of dead bodies along the way, and they're on the run. They're trying to get to Mexico. That's the goal. And at some point, they take a family hostage, and that family has Harvey Keitel as the father, Juliette Lewis is their daughter, and Ernest Liu is the son. And they have a RV, so it's perfect. It's, they're trying to get into Mexico, and what's a better cover than, like family in an RV. We can get on through here. And they make it to a titty bar is the goal. That's where they're meeting. Cheech is there, Cheech Marin, Danny Trejo, seeing him come back, be a
insane. Like,
yeah, no, it's fucking awesome, man. And it's an epic fucking movie. Salma Hayek is like ridiculously hot in it, like other worldly levels of hot. And then she takes a vampire form, and the vampire forms are fucking they're disgusting. They're ugly as shit, and that's one of the fun things about it is that.
I thought you were about to say that she was even hotter as vampire form.
I was kind of hoping that vampire form just meant teeth coming out. It didn't. But yeah, that'd have been great. I'd love that. But no, there's another thing here with like Tarantino. Like the classic Tarantino thing is where a character is terrible and he's awful and he's just the absolute worst, and then they do something and
dude's dying.
They get killed, and it's like in the most brutal fucking way. And you're like, fuck yeah, there we go. But yeah, so this one was co-written by Tarantino as well. So like he had a little bit of a hand in the production, and he plays like a sexual deviant, an absolute predator.
Tarantino does?
Yeah, Tarantino does.
Huh.
He gets brutally murdered.
Good.
Which is nice.
That's good. Man, he's got a thing. I don't know. I was just scrolling through the pictures, and of course, a Tarantino movie. I just see a foot close up, It's just it's just a guarantee.
No, he actually, there's a part of the movie where Salma Hayek pours alcohol down her body, sticks her foot in Quentin Tarantino's mouth, and the alcohol runs off into his mouth.
He literally
wrote that in for himself.
Dude, he came during that. I guarantee. Like, oh my god, that is like his ultimate fantasy.
Yep. She kills him like two minutes later. So like it's
it's out of like, it's not out of like respect. It's out of like, I'm about to kill you.
Basically,
like,
yeah.
Drink,
She's like an exotic dancer at this titty bar, and she's putting on a show and everything. And then the vampires come out, and it's like the rest of the movie is just survival. It's like we got to make it through the fucking night.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, from dusk till dawn. That's they got to make it from dusk till dawn.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sunlight.
They can't survive sunlight. So no, fucking awesome. Absolutely love that. There's like a bunch of sequels that I don't think I'll ever watch, but they exist. But yeah, from dusk till dawn. That's my 3. It's my favorite vampire movie of all time.
All right. Well, this one was actually a little bit of a debate between which one was my favorite zombie movie. But I think the critical value of the one I will not say is what let it rise above the other. But this one I hold very, very close. It's just way more of a funny, entertaining type movie rather than a critical masterpiece. But it's still pretty good. It is 2009's Zombieland. Starring Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Woody Harrelson. Apparently, Bill Murray's in there for a little bit.
He plays a zombified version of Bill Murray.
Oh, that's right. They go to his house.
Yeah.
Yep, they do go.
He's literally playing Bill Murray.
Wow. Oh my god, that's incredible. But no, this movie's just like, I remember watching it for the first time. I was probably, I was a teenager. This came out in 2009. I probably wasn't allowed to watch it for a little bit, and then I snuck it in there somehow, or I don't know how I watched it. But man, I felt like this was just one of the coolest movies there was. I also had a huge crush on Emma Stone at the time. She was one of my celebrity crushes, and I don't know. I love me some. I don't know. This is an apocalypse one. It's funny as well. I love the little like Rule 47. Never blah 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 or whatever. But then I don't know. It is kind of just funny and whatever. But then you get to the end of the movie and they're like all in that like trapped in the amusement park or whatever, and like it actually like I don't think ever would make you cry or anything like that, but it's just you're rooting, you're really just rooting. It's pretty easy to root for the people in a zombie apocalypse, I guess.
Right.
It's like they already got everything stacked against them, like it's pure underdog story. But I don't know, I love just killing zombies, and Woody Harrelson just kills it. Like I love the kind of character he is in this one. He's been around the block, he's I don't know, he's just really funny. He means business. Yeah, Tallahassee, that's his name. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, I forgot. They all go by where they're from. Names: Tallahassee, Columbus, and Wichita. Oh, Little Rock.
Wichita.
Yeah, Wichita. That's nice. Wow. And then Bill Murray as Bill Murray. That's incredible. But no, I had to, couldn't put it quite at number 1, but it almost made it there. But this is definitely on the rewatch list for this project, that's for sure. This one is, I don't know, this. No, I was about to equate it with the Polar Express of Halloween movies, but it's not that.
It's not that. No, I get you.
I'm sorry, Zombieland.
No, it's fun as fuck though. It's a super fun time. Not super heartwarming, but super fun. No, I love that. Yeah, I had a similar struggle with my 2 and 1 for my zombie movies. I actually ended up going the reverse. I do think that both of these are critically astounding, but my 2 is a certified classic, and saying it's that my number 1 is better than it, I just can't.
Okay.
But Night of the Living Dead 1968, directed by George Romero, is my number 2. This appeared in my top 100, so saying that this is my 2 means that my 1, which was not in my top 100 until a rewatch, it's saying something. I fucking love Night of the Living Dead. It's groundbreaking. It sets the tone for what zombies are going to be portrayed as forever, basically, and you know, kind of groundbreaking for the time as well. A black man in a movie full of white people is the lead and the protagonist. He is the guy you are rooting for and want to follow in 1968, which is cool.
Hey, George Romero.
Yeah, very, very awesome. It's, you know, a little bit of a similar premise to From Dusk Till Dawn. You just got to make it through the night. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to survive the night. And, you know, it's got a pretty heartbreaking ending that you do not want to see. You don't want it to happen, and it happens, and that blows. And it's not at all what you'd expect. It's not what you think is going to happen. It's worse. I can't recommend this movie highly enough, simply because it is just so iconic. And if you are looking for zombie movies, you cannot get better than The Night of the Living Dead, man. Like, it is just so fucking good. And it's got heart out the ass. It's not just fun. It is moving, and it's devastating, and everything happens for a reason. You know, not just pointless kills. There's the motivations of the characters, the way those come into play, and the way they clash, and the way they butt heads. It really pushes the story forward, and it's a difficult thing to do when all you're trying to do is survive the night in one fucking house. You know, like to make that movie entertaining for an house. Yeah, like you are in a, yeah. A lady comes from a graveyard. They were visiting their mother's grave or something, and her brother gets attacked, and she runs away. She finds her way to a house, and a couple other people find their way to the same house. Like, there's just it's an outbreak, you know, something's happening, and people are becoming zombified. If anybody dies, burn them immediately, or else they will become one of them, you know, sort of thing.
I like
it's
that.
Super cool. I love it. And it's, like I said, sets the tone for what zombies would be portrayed as forever after. So, like, very cool. Love Night of the Living Dead.
I feel like I'm in debt to George Romero, because I have forever grown up thinking that he is only a character in Call of Duty as a villain in one of the zombie maps. But that's the thing, is that even in that character, he has Danny Trejo there. I guess he goes by Machete or something. I don't know. I think like it is a character name in the thing. But like, there's real actors that he is filming a zombie movie for, and then real zombies come and break out. That's the whole thing of the map, whatever.
Oh, he's directing the movie in the
He's directing a zombie movie. You see fake zombies at the
Danny
first.
Trejo plays Machete.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's Danny Trejo. I'm pretty sure there's probably 3 other real actors, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the others aren't real. But they definitely voiced the characters, at least for the game.
I'm like, Danny Trejo definitely actually played a character named Machete at some point in an actual movie as well.
I feel like that's in the zombie map as well. I'm pretty sure you can play as Danny Trejo on that map. I'm pretty certain.
That's so baller. That's so baller. But
for some reason, I didn't realize George Romero was a real person. That's so I feel like I'm in debt, and I have to, I don't know, to watch his movies. Because that's baller. He's like Luke Skywalker legendary status. Like, I thought he was a character in a zombie thing, but it was an homage to zombie legend. Yeah.
No, Machete, actually starring Danny Trejo, also directed by Robert Rodriguez. So a little bit of a he's also the Rancor handler in Book of Boba Fett. So he's constantly popping up for Robert Rodriguez. I love that. But
wow.
Yeah, I had to go Night of the Living Dead, man. And it was hard to put it below my 1, but the devastating ending versus the slight glimmer of hope that the ending of my top 1 gives me makes me cry versus doesn't make me cry versus 1 makes me happy versus 1 doesn't, you know, so yeah.
Perfect. That ends up working perfectly, because I got a nice little shred, glimmer of hope ending as well. Out of my zombie movie, where it all looks lost at first. It's Will Smith in I Am Legend for this zombie movie. I don't know. I think a really different take on like the look of. I don't even know if you call them zombies. Yeah.
The infected sort of thing.
Yeah. More, but they were. I don't know. Yeah, they were just fucking fucked up. They were creepy. These dudes gave me the creeps. More than I think like zombies would, because it looked like this could like maybe really happen. Like this looked kind of real, and him being the last guy in New York, I think it's really cool just him like going around the city with his dog, just checking in at his video store, talking to the mannequins. He has his like routine and stuff like that. Has probably one of my most hated scenes in all of movie history, which is him having to kill his dog.
Yeah.
I hate, like, it's just, oh my god, I hate watching that every time. Man, I don't know, I used to watch this movie a shit ton. Like, it used to just be over and over for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's my favorite apocalypse movie. There, like he thinks he's the last guy there, but then he radio calls every single day for someone, ends up meeting a mom and a kid, and the glimmer of hope, is there is a city that is safe, that is walled up, and he got a cure, maybe. They found a cure, and it's on the way to this safe haven.
Right.
So, but sacrifices had to be made in the meantime.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a similar top one here. We do. It sounds pretty same but different.
Okay.
My one goes to Train to Busan, 2016, directed by Yeon Sang-ho. It's a Korean zombie flick that is unmatched for me for zombie movies, man. Like, it's heartbreaking, heartwarming. It's everything, man. You got a great cast here, including Ma Dong-seok, who was in Eternals, as Gilgamesh.
Yeah. Okay.
He plays a badass in this as well. There's a good fucking guy, man. And so the premise is that this gentleman who is, it's like the beginning of The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, where he's like, he wasn't a bad man, but he wasn't a particularly good man either. That sort of thing. He cares about his money. He's a businessman, and he's trying to make more money to support his daughter, but he's not there for his daughter, and she's resenting him for it, and she wants to go back home to mom, who lives in Busan. So they got to hop the train. They got to get on the train and go to Busan. They get up real early one morning. It's her birthday. And they're like, I'm going to take you to mom's. If that's what you want for your birthday, that's what I'm going to give you for your birthday, So they get on the train, and there's like these random news reports throughout the day where it's like, people are getting sick. There are riots around the world. There's stuff going on. Naturally, tensions rise as someone who was bitten. It's one of those. You don't have to die. You have to be bitten by a zombie to become a zombie. Gets on the train. And the way that cascades into a survival on this train.
Man.
Like, this is so fucking good that I'm not going to tell you where the story goes. You have got to watch it on your own. Because and it's nowhere that's like, oh, I didn't see that coming, but it's just like, I don't want to spoil it for you. It's just that good.
I love the early goings of an apocalypse as well.
Oh, the way the tension sort of builds, and there's that eerie silence, and
like, God, it sounds so weird that I'm like fantasizing like an apocalyptic event, but like, it's a movie, so like it's kind of like me really obsessing over like serial killer stories or something.
No, and this is
so yeah.
Oh, dude, it's expert expert tension building in this movie.
Ooh.
There are multiple points that are just so suspenseful because the another part of it is that, you know, they can't see, they attack what they can see. They can't see you, they don't attack. So when they go in tunnels, the way they have to try and like sneak around, you know, they're just kind of walking through them and stuff, you know, like they throw shit, you know, someone steps on something and it's like, oh fuck, run, you know, like that sort of thing, because they can hear but they can't see and they run towards the sound, you know. So it's just expert tension building. It's classic storytelling, and I am so fucking glad I rewatched it before we talked about this here, because it wasn't even going to make my top 5, and now I'm like, undoubtedly top 1 Undead movie. I fucking love watching it, man. And yeah, man, it's so fucking good. So that's my top 1 for the Undeads. If you want to take us back through 1 through 5 there.
Oh, I will. I got 1, I Am Legend. 2, Zombieland. 3, 28 Days Later. 4, Horror of Dracula. And 5, Blade.
I've got Train to Busan at 1, 2, Night of the Living Dead, 3, From Dusk Till Dawn, 4, The Mummy, and 5, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. On to monsters. 5 monster movies. Now this is another semi-broad category. You know, it's not just your typical monsters. You know, we wanted to rope in as much as we could. So, you know, aliens kind of fits into this as well. Any alien movies that you can apply, this is where they'll be going. I just wanted to make that clear for everybody listening. We counted them as monsters. You know, it's kind of like Jurassic Park. You know, the dinosaurs aren't monsters, but they're framed as like a monster movie, like Jaws, you know, shit like that. So, still broad, but you know, we maintain a continuity. What are you taking us in with here at 5?
It's one I haven't seen in quite a while, and you know, I guess I've never really thought as to what kind of creature this is, but I mean, he's pretty monster-ish, and this one is just could be more of a Halloween vibe, I guess, but this one gets me into the season, and I just love the look of it and everything of it. But it is The Nightmare Before Christmas, by the good old written by Tim Burton, I believe. I don't think this one's directed by him.
It isn't. It is not.
Yeah, that I thought so, but I don't know. This one is just. I remember watching this for the first time and being like, I think this is probably the first Tim Burton thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was just, I don't know, I was just kind of taken away by it. I was freaked out by it initially, and I didn't want anything to do with it. But then I don't know if it was my cousins that watched it or maybe my sister. I don't know, but I heard "This is Halloween, this is Halloween,
Halloween,"
the song, and I'm like, it kept grabbing my attention. I'm like, I got it. I kept going back, and so I know this one I have dubbed my this will be my Halloween night movie that I will watch on Halloween. I thought it was going to be the Batman. Turns out I just did it a little prematurely.
I see.
So I didn't want to do it that close back to back. I think the Batman was going to be it, but yeah, this one is taking the cake. I think a perfect, you know, combination of, you know, right when Halloween rolls around, you know it's Christmas time. You know, like this is when the holidays begin. Some people like to celebrate Christmas a little early or a little too early. They don't like to let the other holidays breathe. And I guess this is kind of a little mid-ground, even though it's just very Halloween-y.
No, it's the best of both worlds. You know, Jack Skellington is trying to take over the other holiday. You know, he's trying to rule the holiday landscape as you know, he's a skeleton guy. It's fun, you know, like that's a creature feature. You know, I think it fits into the monster thing pretty well. I like it. You
kind of got, you know, he's a skeleton. You got like, what are they, just humans? I don't know. I mean, there's like some zombie looking. There's like there are just humans, but then there's like just random. There's just kind of everything up in here that's thrown up. up in here. But man, I can't wait to give this one a rewatch.
Oh, fuck
On
yeah. Fuck
Halloween
yeah. I
night.
love that.
But yeah. But
All right.
start
That's a
it
good
off.
place that's a good place to kick it off. I'm going to kick it off with my traditional Halloween day film.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is where I have The Monster Squad, 1987, directed by Fred Decker. Super fun. It's one that my dad introduced me to years back and introduced my entire family to years back, and it's been something that we've maintained every year, is that we watch The Monster Squad, we carve pumpkins, we do that whole thing, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it takes all the classic monsters. You got the Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the creature from the lagoon, whatever that water fucking guy is.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a super
Loch
fun
Ness
fucking
Monster?
time, man.
Is that what it is? Or no?
It's not the
Or like
Loch Ness
the
monster,
thing,
but
or
it's
like the lagoon. Why do I feel like I know a monster from a lagoon?
there used to be books when we were younger, that played with that sort of thing. But regardless, I can't really remember what it was now. But super fun. Another one where Frankenstein's a pretty big character, and Frankenstein does they humanize the shit out of Frankenstein. Frankenstein's their friend. He's the good guy, the good monster against the team of evil monsters. He befriends the little girl in the movie and rides with her for the rest of it against Dracula. Super fun, and there aren't many more Halloween movies I would recommend sooner for just like a fun fucking time. It's not scary at all, it might be to a very young mind, but I have such a fun time with this movie, and I can't wait to watch. I might watch this tonight. We're recording Monday, October 30th, but like into Halloween, the midnight strike, it'll be a lot of fun. It's only an hour and 20 minutes, kind of plays with all those classic Universal monster tropes, and it's a great fucking time.
A very nice thing that a lot of these classic horror movies have in common is just a very nice, easy runtime. Very easily digestible.
Wolfman's got nards. One of my favorite quotes from the movie. My name is Horace.
Huh. Oh, there it is. I thought I did, but I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't. I thought I had a list. Sorry, I didn't know if you were done.
No, I'm good. We're off.
Kind of transitioning here, but I thought I had a list on Letterboxd that had this on here, but maybe not. It doesn't look like it actually. Okay. But this one, it's coming out of Marvel, surprisingly, for a Halloween type movie, for a monster movie, or I guess a short here, and this is Werewolf by Night, which just had a little renaissance in color this year.
Yes,
which was pretty neat. But I remember when it first came out. I remember I was like excited leading up into it. We were pretty into Marvel at the time. There's a lot of just things going on, and I remember this was kind of just like a little thing they threw out there. It was just like an extra treat. They really didn't push too hard to market or whatever. It was just kind of like, we made this, here it is, and it ended up being like, I don't know. It was really impressive. They were just trying
all
something
time.
new.
Yeah, man.
It was like, whoa, like. Man, like whenever they don't have to stick to their formula and worry about massive implications and stuff, just give me a few monsters going out into this, I don't know, backyard of this
estate.
Estate, yeah, and they're looking for a bloodstone that's just gives their, I don't know, this monster leader basically, like, I don't know, that it's just passed down from generation to generation. And yeah, I don't know, just give me that and give me all these crazy monsters. I didn't complete it in color. I started the rewatch in color. I forgot. I think like Hadley ran in the room or something.
Yes.
Got distracted. Something like that. But I started the rewatch in color. and it's pretty cool. Watching it in color.
No, I got a chance to watch, and I watched the whole thing in color, and I prefer it.
Okay.
I think I do prefer the black and white simply because I love the way they're playing with the classic horror thing going on there. It's got the campy, natural, practical effect thing going on. But on rewatch, I was like, I went to my MCU ranking, and it shot all the way up my fucking like it's at 5 right now in my MCU ranking. Top 5 anything in the MCU. I fucking love it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing though. I prefer it in black and white. I think it just fits the feeling. And I mean I guess they knew they were gonna go for the black and white look.
No, I cannot wait to get to that for our comic book movie journey now, because I watched it and I was like, oh, I could fucking talk about this.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a ways away.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna have to, like, with the specials, the Christmas and the Halloween thing. We could probably move things to kind of make it, and so it'll go a little out of order, but we'll make sure it's around the time of year it's supposed to. I think. Obviously that'll be next year, but
yeah. Like,
yeah, no, I like Werewolf by Night. It's a great fucking watch. Directed by my favorite composer. Composed the Batman. Yeah, Michael Giacchino.
I just saw that. What? He directed this?
Yeah, also scored it, which it has a fantastic track there. But yeah, super fucking cool.
Stuff at all.
I think this was his first thing he directed, but
yeah, I guess Monster Challenge looks like another short, and then Star Trek Short Treks, a TV one episode on Star Trek. Wow, I did not know he directed anything at all.
Yeah, no. So I want him to direct more shit after that. That thing had probably the most style anything MCU has had, and I don't know how fucking long.
Like it's not the MCU.
Right.
It is simply not the MCU.
Right.
Wow. But yeah, whenever I watch it, I'm just gonna think, I'm gonna see how well the music fits the scene. Like I bet he was thinking a lot about that, or I don't know.
Oh, it's fucking perfect. Yeah. Like, I love it. But it's a good one. And speaking of directors that from other things we love, that is not necessarily direction. My 4 for Monsters is Little Shop of Horrors from 1986, directed by Frank Oz, the voice of Yoda. Yo. Also very, very important to, like, the Muppets and stuff. So, like, he had a very established career with puppetry, which is the big thing here with the giant fucking Audrey 2 monster. Yeah. That's a fun musical with this bloodthirsty plant that needs blood to grow and stay alive. And the main character is played by Rick Moranis, whose job is he's trying to create and cultivate a plant so that it will draw business to this plant shop that's dying down on Skid Row. Down on Skid Row. It's a super, super fun movie. Oh. I have such a great time watching it. We got a little, Steve Martin has a role in it. Jim Belushi, Tisha Campbell. It's a super, super fun movie. And, it's not strictly a Halloween movie, but this thing is absolutely a monster. So I had to.
You're unlocking some deep memories, and I still don't even know if I really have them or not. I feel like I don't know why. I have seen this monster somewhere, somehow.
I had the same feeling when I watched it for the first time in my head. I was like, this is the first time I'm watching this. Why do I recognize Audrey 2?
Yeah, why
you need blood and he's got more than enough.
Like, even you describing the movie, I've never seen it, and I know I haven't seen it based on your description, but I guess maybe I have. I don't know.
Maybe a long time ago. Yeah. I love the leading lady named Audrey, played by Ellen Greene. She's got one of those voices that's way up there like this. No, Mr. Mushnick, I don't think so it's really campy and really funny and stupid, and I fucking love it. So Little Shop of Horrors had to be on this list, so I got it at 4 there.
All right. Well, moving on here, I got a I guess. Wow, is this a I don't know. I guess he's a monster.
He's a monster.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's right. Like slashers.
Yeah. Slashers, I'd say, like, if they're a human that is a serial killer, you can categorize that as a monster.
Yeah, and I think my favorite slasher that there is in the horror category. I want to make sure I stick by this statement when I say it, but I do think it's true. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think I'll stand by it, but it's Scream. And if I had to choose one, it'd be the OG, the original, the very first one.
Yeah, Ghostface, baby.
Oh man, love me some Ghostface. Love a good twist in a movie as well, you know. So I'm all for that. It being well, at first I guess like you think it's just one dude, and then it turns out it's actually two helping the whole, or like doing it the whole time, which is sick. And then you realize it's one of the friends as well, which is, you know, there's like kind of a lot of twists that just snowball right at the end there.
And a pretty massive twist at the beginning where you think Drew Barrymore, you know, a movie star, is going to be the main character of the movie. And then they
just open up with his murder.
Or her murder. Yeah.
That's right. I thought that there was a murder.
There is a dude who gets murdered first. Right. It's her boyfriend.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought there
and
was.
And then she runs outside, gets like hung and gutted, and all that. Yeah.
Hey, I see. Look, you know, where's my boyfriend? Whatever. Like, doesn't he like? I think he's out. I think he's out back, or I don't know. Like.
What are you watching? You know, I'm not watching a horror movie. You know, like that whole thing.
Stranger. Love the ghost. You know, just the voice of Ghostface.
No, it's got one of my favorite like openings to a horror movie ever. Like that just really, really sets the tone for what you're about to get into. So I think that's a great choice.
Didn't know the girlfriend who got murdered. That's a I don't know. That's would I know them from anything else?
Drew Barrymore, almost certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know that name. What do I just didn't recognize it was her. Maybe in the movie.
I mean, she's very young in it.
Okay, maybe that's why. But man, no, just I don't know. I love me a group of young dumb people just having a good time and then slowly just getting murdered one by one.
I know what you did last summer type shit. You know, like that dumb, stupid genre of horror I fucking love. I love that shit.
I don't know. It pisses some people off. Like, oh, how could they be so dumb? They're dying so easily. They're doing stupid things in these situations. It's like, that's what you want to see, though. Do you want to see them escape and run away, or do you want to see them get brutally murdered by the titular, or, you know, by the character you're coming in for the movie for? So, but yeah, that's
no, I like it. I like it.
Scream was where I was going. The other one I was thinking of was, I guess, like Nightmare on Elm Street would be my other slasher kind of monster.
You know, he's got a little bit of a mystical thing going on, getting in your dreams and shit. Mm-hmm. So like,
could be like a cult there.
Could be a little bit of an occult thing, but yeah, no, I like that. I'm not a huge slasher fan. Not a big slasher guy. So, and that never been my bag. But regardless, I'm going to another classic here. You know, we talked Hammer Film Productions a little bit ago with your Dracula pick, with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and I'm going with their Frankenstein movie, The Curse of Frankenstein, 1957, directed by Terence Fisher. Easily my favorite portrayal of Dr. Frankenstein by Peter Cushing. So fucking just evil, mad scientist shit that will stop at nothing to make sure that his creation can be created, that he has the ability to create what he wishes to, and nothing will get in his way. And if you get in his way, he will actually kill you. Like that's not like that's not typically a normal characteristic of Dr. Frankenstein, I don't think, but like there's a dude who's got like a genius brain. He's like, you were a genius. I want your, like, he realizes like, oh, this man's brain should be my monster's brain so he can be a genius. So he kills him. Okay. You know, and it's like, and
Fair enough.
I love that portrayal. Like, it's so good, and Christopher Lee is so good as the creature. You know, I think that he does a wonderful job portraying the, you know, oafish ignorance and innocence while also portraying that like scary, you know, like he is frightening, you know, like, and that's something that is a little bit important to it. So, you know, I have a great time with this movie. And if you liked Dracula, you'll sure as shit like The Curse of Frankenstein. In fact, this, is my favorite Frankenstein movie. I have another one to mention, but if there's anywhere I suggest you start, especially since you've watched Dracula, it's The Curse of Frankenstein.
What does this mean? On IMDb, I've never seen this before. It says the year, the runtime, but in between the year and the runtime, it says approved. What is I've never...
Oh, probably by the Motion Picture Association, there was a time when movies had to be approved for the big screen.
Oh, wow.
And it's because it's before there was a rating system. It's before there was PG through R.
Oh, that's usually where the rating is. Okay, yeah, R. Okay, just approved. Wow, that's all. Yeah, that's all it was back then.
It was approved or disapproved.
No.
Yep.
Yes or no. That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and this was kind of groundbreaking for the time. There's a clip of Martin Scorsese talking about seeing this at a midnight showing when he was younger. And like the audible gasps and reactions to some of the more gory things that now it's like nothing, you know, but like at the time it was like, whoa, like, oh God, you know, so like,
wow.
It's super fun. I like that movie a lot. So The Curse of Frankenstein, I got it 3 there.
Okay. You know, now that I'm thinking, well, no, I mean, this movie is badass. That is why I had it up there. I was thinking like maybe this deserves to be down at like 5 or 4. Maybe even 3, but like, I don't know. I love, I guess I should get into it first, even say what I'm talking about, but this is Godzilla versus Kong. Came out in 2021. I was trying to go through all the Kong movies and Godzilla and see which one came out to be like kind of my favorite of theirs. And I'd say like Kong Skull Island was the one I was thinking about going with. I think that one's actually just kind of like just a decent movie, like for Kong in general. And then like there's some pretty badass action, but usually I'm not one for like the Godzilla type movies. I've always enjoyed the Kong ones more, where there's like this human aspect to the monster as well, you know? But I do enjoy every now and then just letting a pure evil unleashed on the world, you know? Just seeing, you know, like, because usually it's just Godzilla and that's it. Like, it's just humans versus Godzilla. They got to do something. This time, we got
Kong's got to protect him.
We got Kong, and
Godzilla's got like an actual decent motivation too, where like this corporation is destroying his habitat, so he's trying to take them out, and they're making him angry, and like, dude, super cool.
Up the rest of the monsters too. There's like I forget how many there are, but apparently there's just monsters laying dormant on Earth, just like or in Middle Earth, or maybe I don't know.
The middle, I
think it's literally like Middle Earth or something like that. And like he's trying to wake them up and shit, and Kong's the only one that's like
super fun blockbuster, dude.
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, it's like it is purely a blockbuster. You know, that's what it was for. But man, like the visual effects, like Kong and Godzilla, and like there's a lot of water fights or like fights that happen in the ocean or somewhere. I don't know, like aircraft carriers and shit. And like it looks so good. Like I was watching this and I'm like, wow, it's kind of crazy. Like where technology is, where we can just have Kong
simulate
and Godzilla go crazy, because you think about the classic like Godzilla movies, they literally just built like miniature. Like,
and like for the time they're groundbreaking and they're incredibly well done. And you know, like I need to rewatch the original Godzilla movie because it's been a long time, and I was too young, and it was in Japanese, and it was black and white, so I didn't give a shit when I was like 10. But now I guarantee you I would love that movie. So like, it's a long history of Godzilla and Kong, and the fact that they got to face off finally in a movie, when we have the ability to give that its full
A
effect.
true,
Yeah.
honoring of that fight. And they did. Yeah, they did not hold back.
No,
And
not even a little bit.
So, but yeah, a little wild card one there. I think a little bit.
A little bit.
I felt like I had to get Kong. I really like Kong. Kong is just I like him in general. Not even for like the Halloween times. It's
a wonderful quote unquote monster. I wouldn't call him a monster, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
At first seen as just kind of like Frankenstein. He's
creature, kaiju. Sort of thing, like those all fit into this category, I think.
True.
So
I think Godzilla, without a doubt, that's a monster.
That is a monster. Yeah.
That's yeah. So I guess
if you breathe nuclear beams,
dude, whenever he's charging up, and then you think he's gonna like scream upwards like a laser going up, but then he looks down at the last second and just starts shooting through the earth, and it's just like holy fuck, like this dude is. Oh man, no, I love me some Godzilla Kong, but yeah, that's where.
But yeah, I'm gonna take it to some classic monsters with my next one as well. Classic movie here, and it might be a hot take that I have this over the original, but I'm going Aliens from 1986, directed by James Cameron, and the first one is much more horror. Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, is much more horror than Aliens by James Cameron, which has a lot more of a sci-fi flair.
This still counts. This still fully counts.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, Sigourney Weaver is God. I fucking love Sigourney Weaver, and I've grown to love James Cameron a great deal. So I got a chance to revisit this prior to us talking about it today. And I'm higher on this movie than I've ever been. I fucking love it. Get off of her, you bitch! Fucking iconic. I love this movie. And the design of the aliens themselves, the practical effects utilized in the movie. James Cameron is a fantastic director, and the fact that he has this in him, always makes me so happy. The fact that he can do Aliens and he can do Titanic, what a fucking talent to have that sort of range as a director. But man, I love Aliens. It had to be on here, so I got it at top 2 for my monsters here.
I don't know if it is Aliens. It might be the first one, but I heard something recently that just. It made me love Aliens even more. I loved it already in Sigourney Weaver. Like it's a performance I'll never forget.
Ellen Ripley, baby.
But I heard she had a very prominent
bush. Yeah.
And she wore like panties very low, like to show it off. Like she was not shy about letting her bush hang out, and they had to remove it like VFX. Like
that was Alien.
Imagine having that job of being the one to sit down and remove Sigourney Weaver's bush in every shot that there is. I think that's an hilarious piece of history.
I would almost feel like I'm doing her a disservice. I'd be like, right? You'd have to put a gun to my head for me to airbrush Sigourney Weaver's bush out of a shot.
That's what I'm saying is like, man, I mean, she's really saying "fuck you" to the VFX department. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, she's like, fine, you fucking like if Ridley Scott is going to stand by that vision so hard that I can't have a bush, then it's his fault at that point. It's his fault that the VFX department has to do that.
She clearly wanted the bush.
She clearly wanted the bush. So I love Sigourney Weaver. I actually just rewatched Holes this weekend. And she's also in that. She's the warden of the prison institution.
Oh my God. Whoa. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but regardless, anywho, love Sigourney Weaver, love Aliens, have it at top 2 there.
All right, well, we're sticking to the alien vein for my number 1. Not quite the monster movie you'd expect, but I think it is my favorite monster that's ever been created in anything movie or anything ever. Just the look, the pure look of this monster and what it does and everything. This is Nope by Jordan Peele. The monster I'm referring to, the alien, obviously, at the end there. Whenever it unfolds and shows its true form, I'm like, I don't know what I could have expected, But I don't think there could have been a cooler design for like this for Jean
No.
Jacket, like this alien. Like I was just like I was blown away, and like just how it had that cube or whatever in the middle, but then it kept like unfolding like over and over, and it was like it seemed that it was like opening its mouth almost, or like doing it as like a like intimidation.
Yeah.
And so like that's awesome. But man, talk about some like a gruesome shot of the humans getting eaten, and like you're just traveling like you hear the sounds of like balloons rubbing together, you know, of like just like all the just the slime and like slimy too, like
Then you hear that
screams, yeah, and then just a bite or whatever happened.
Squelch.
I don't know. Yeah, and no more screams from that point on.
One of my favorite shots in any horror movie ever is the shot of the ship Jean Jacket above the house blocking the rain. And then when you're in there and you see the blood raining down outside, fucking
my God.
magnificent, dude. Like Jordan Peele is a fucking
God.
visionary.
Yeah. It just hit me right now. Is Jean Jacket the only one of its species out here?
Right.
You know? Is that the only one on Earth that we got? Or maybe in space in general? I'd say
Who knows?
not.
Who knows?
But man, new fear unlocked. Every time I look at a cloud, every now and then, like it'll hit me, and I'm like, "Is that a cloud? Or is that cloud been there every day?"
Has that cloud been moving the last 6 months? I love one of my favorite lines as well. What's a bad miracle? Daniel Kaluuya delivers that to Keke Palmer. Just a hard ass line, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. I
love the director or like the cameraman. I don't even know if they give him a name. In the movie, maybe
they do.
God,
was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple
Antlers Holst.
Yeah, I can never remember that.
Wow, played by Michael Wincott. But man, love me a good old classic. You know, I built this camera myself. No electronic parts here. You know, period.
What'd I tell you? He was gonna pull up with a non-electric camera. Bop, 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 bop. They do like the 5 high fives really fucking hard. Love that shit. But yeah, one time at a convention, a fan told Jordan Peele he was the greatest horror director of all time. And his response was, not when John Carpenter exists. And my number one monster movie is directed by John Carpenter. It's The Thing from 1982. Starring
John
Kurt
Carpenter.
Russell.
Yeah.
This is a shape-shifting alien, also an alien. They're doing an Antarctic research facility, and it infiltrates and sows discord among the members of the team so thoroughly that by the end, it's just hopeless. It's fucking magnificent, dude. I think that's easily one of my favorite easily my favorite monster movie of all time, and amongst my favorite alien movies of all time. Now that I've gotten a chance to watch it, had I'd watched this prior to our top 100, it would have been very, very high. John Carpenter is officially one of my favorite directors of all time. I mentioned him for, In the Mouth of Madness with the Occult, and man, do I love his work. I think that there's very little that he misses on, and The Thing, probably my favorite of his movies. I think that there's nothing more you could ask for out of this genre, because the distrust it sows, and even you by the end of the movie are going, who is one of them? Who is their original? Like, it's fantastic to see how that alien.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. And I don't want to dive too deeply into it just because I feel like one day we could do a whole fucking thing about it. But
I have weird memories of it. I feel like I have seen it, but I feel like I mix it up with another movie.
There is another movie called The Thing from 2011 that's like a prequel. It has Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Arctic?
Yep.
Okay, so
it has Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and it has fucking Tormund from Game of Thrones.
I think that's the one then. So maybe I haven't actually seen this one, but Yeah, John Carpenter. Got to put some respect. If my guy Jordan Peele, if he's saying, no,
This is the man.
not while this man exists, I have to trust that opinion. And yeah, I'd say looking at his filmography, it's looking pretty good. But Jordan Peele's still young. He's still young.
That indeed.
Maybe he could get there one day. But wow, there we are. Are we gonna run it back? 1 through 5 real quick.
Oh, of course.
Okay, here we go. I'll start us out for good old monsters. We got 1, Nope. 2, Godzilla vs. Kong. 3, Scream. 4, Werewolf by Night. And 5, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Beautiful. I've got 1, The Thing. 2, Aliens. 3, The Curse of Frankenstein. 4, Little Shop of Horrors. And 5, The Monster Squad. With that, let's get down to our last category, Halloween vibes. Now, this is, like I said at the top, doesn't have to be strictly a horror movie. Just anything you might watch around the season. Something that reminds you of, the fall. I would even go there. But what I did mostly was things that either didn't quite fit into one of these categories or was right outside of the top 5 on these other categories. I was like, if it was 6, I was like, okay, this is where I'll find a place for it and stuff like that. But let's hear it. What are you kicking us off with for Halloween vibes at 5?
Well, this one I had a little bit more fun with in this category. I like the more lighthearted Halloween movies. In my opinion. I guess for Halloween, yeah, I don't know. I think I am more there. I do love me a good horror movie, but if a movie like a Hocus Pocus in 1993 was when this one came out. I remember my sister was specifically obsessed with this movie.
Right.
And so this was one she sat me down and made me watch a lot. And it's crazy that it never clicked with me that these are just witches going around trying to steal the souls of children so that they could stay young. And I think that's hilarious that that we just this is a kid's movie. I don't know, and the whole kind of plot of it is just kidnapping children. But I don't know, I feel like this is a classic childhood, could be up there in the Polar Express for Halloween, but not quite. It's not quite. It's almost to that level. It's why I'm starting out with it. But one that is it's not scary. You're not going to be on the edge of your seat or anything like that. Just a classic 3 witches. Going around. I think it literally is Halloween, the day they come out. There's this story that's been told of 3 witches that come out on Halloween night and take a little girl or little guy, little boy, and blah blah blah, and then they actually do, and it's I don't know, it's just a fun childhood time, and I don't know, I haven't actually. I think the last time I've seen it was probably 2 years ago. I think is 2 Halloweens ago. So
yeah,
two years ago now. Which is kind of crazy. Maybe last Halloween.
It's fun though, man. Yeah. It's a fun fucking movie. I know exactly. I always had a great time with that one. It's been a long time since I've seen it though. My 5 is one that I finished earlier today. Fun fact. Yeah. So it was a late edition. Went right at 5. I love it. The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935, directed by James Whale. This is the sequel to the 1931 Frankenstein with Boris Karloff and all that, and it's super 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 fun. I like it more than that first movie. I think it's a fun sequel with the creation of the bride. Boris Karloff gets to act a little bit more as the monster. He gets to have a good time. And I think this is kind of the image of the Bride of Frankenstein and the monster that you see in your head whenever you think of the stereotypical versions of these characters. This is kind of This is kind of where it's at. And
Oh, no, I'm
man,
running through the pictures. This lab too. The
ooh,
lab that
the
he's
lab
like
is hard.
the tech that's kind of like around there or whatever. That like this looks classic Frankenstein here. Like this looks cool. Just
Oh, dude, it is, man. And I strongly recommend watching those two movies back to back. It will end up being like a 2-hour, 20-minute thing for you. But that's about the length of a normal fucking movie typically. So, it's two movies, kind of a 2-part story. They play one right after the other, and this one has a fun, like, meta thing going on where Mary Shelley, there's a character playing Mary Shelley, the author of the original Frankenstein novel, who shows up at the beginning and is like, you probably thought the story ended there, but what if I told you there's more? You know, like, does like a little recap of the first movie.
That's
and then,
cool.
And then tells this, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that the Bride of Frankenstein, like, is one of those characters that could be explored a lot more fully in modern media. And I'm excited for like Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein with Oscar Isaac's going to play the monster, Andrew Garfield's going to play Dr. Frankenstein, and Mia Goth is going to play the Bride of Frankenstein. That's coming sometime next year, or whenever they get to start filming again.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking cool. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a wonderful continuation of this legacy, and man, I fucking loved this movie. So 5, I have The Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay. That one, I don't know. I think that one is the most intriguing to me of the classic ones that you've said, just by the look, just off pure looks of it. Look really
I would say that Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein are the best looking black, like specifically The Bride of Frankenstein is the best looking black and white photography I've seen of those classic ones. The Mummy is the one that gives it a run for its money, but with also Boris Karloff as Imhotep there. But yeah, that's what I got at 5.
No, I have to. Okay, I was almost about to put one above the other. I just can't. But this one's in the same vein as my last pick, Hocus Pocus. It's another fun Halloween movie, and I feel like this one is closer to that title of the Polar Express of Halloween Time, and this is Halloween Town.
Yes.
Let's see when this came out. This came out 1998. Is when this one came. Wow, the poster of this movie is absolutely atrocious. It is one of the worst movie posters I've ever seen. It looks like it was thrown together on PowerPoint. Anyways, I don't know why this movie was one of my favorites as a kid, but I would watch it not even during Halloween time. Like, I don't know what it was. It was something like it kind of feels similar to like why Harry Potter, I liked it so much. It was like a kid sent to a school that wasn't even known to even exist in the first place and opened up a whole new world of opportunities. It was like, like Harry Potter, you get to learn magic, but the humans don't even think it's real. And then in this place, it's kind of like the same thing. There's just magic in the world, and they, instead of a school, I guess it's just more of a town, or like witches are just in the know of these different towns or different world, I guess, that exists. And I guess it follows the classic trope of just letting kids lead the story, and it's like their curiosity and just their imaginations kind of leading everything. So I do like that. Think it was also I just had a crush on like the main actress at the time, like like as the growing up. So that probably was one why I was watching it over and over again. But I don't know, just a really. I probably couldn't even tell you what happens at the end of this movie. Like
it's just I remember it vividly for just watching it on Disney Channel when I was younger. I fucking loved Halloween Town, man. And when I say vividly, I mean I remember the way it made me feel vividly. You know, like the watching it felt like I was like, oh, I want to go to Halloween Town. Like that was awesome. And I mean, you got Debbie Reynolds headlining the cast there. The mother of our princess, Carrie Fisher.
Never mind. I thought that was my childhood crush at the time. I don't think.
Oh,
I
no,
don't
I don't
think that
believe
was
so.
the one out of the movie. But
Yeah, she was the older witch in
the
that
mother
movie.
of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, Debbie Reynolds.
Wow, that's
She's
actually
also in Singing in the
Yeah.
Rain, you
we
know?
got Yoda and Princess Leia's mom. We got Padme and Yoda. We have real life.
The
Padme.
real life. Yeah.
Yeah, real life Padme and Yoda. Wow. I didn't even know. I had no idea on that one.
No, I love that, man.
If Kimberly
Halloween Town's the shit, though.
would be,
What a
I
great
guess,
pick.
yeah, the one.
Great pull. Great pull.
There we go.
But I'm going more modern with this next one. You had Nope, so I'm going to take it to some Jordan Peele here. At 4, this is where I have Get Out, 2017. Halloween vibes simply for the fact that it is so fucking scary that anything like this has been put onto film. Like, this is a horrific concept. And, man, the tension building that Jordan Peele is capable of, the acting Daniel Kaluuya does, and the third act just jaw-dropping moments he can deliver. Get Out is the shit, man. I have such a great time with it. And man, I love Bradley Whitford. I love Catherine Keener. You know, like the performers in this movie are fantastic. They do such a great job. And shout out to Rod, TSA. Love that man pulling up at the end there.
One of the greatest TSA agents to ever live.
Oh, no doubt. But yeah, we've talked about Get Out a great deal on this podcast. We have an entire episode dedicated to it. In fact, I think besides Aliens, that might be the first one we've said. Blade. We have like a whole The Shining. Yep. We got a few things on here we've dedicated entire episodes to.
Scooby-Doo is up there.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, had to give it some love. I love Get Out, and yeah.
Wow. No. The next two of my picks we have episodes on, actually.
Oh.
And then the last one we will eventually have an
episode. And we did. I think we did cover when it came out.
We actually did. No, we did. So all my all of mine we've covered before, but I think that makes sense. You know, a part of me wanted to go with a different movie to shine some love on some other movies, but like we cover them for a reason. You know, like we are covering.
And we tend to cover stuff we like. You know.
Yeah. And this is a movie that has stuck with me ever since the first time I watched it, and I couldn't wait till you got to it on the comic book journey. It was probably my most I was looking forward to it the most. I don't know, like just out of any movie on the comic book journey. And it's V for Vendetta, one that you wouldn't even think as a comic book movie really to begin with in the first place.
Or a Halloween movie, really.
But, just that, like, his look, like his costume, I don't know. I love me some V. Love the way he speaks. Also has, I'm noticing a pattern with these Halloween movies, just involving a lot of childhood crushes. But Natalie Portman in here. But crazy that like I like
the vivacious vivisection of my vichyssoise. Yeah, that whole thing.
Like hell yeah, it's crazy how much I like this movie. Before I even knew what the fuck was going on, but then when I knew when we actually covered, I'm like, oh my god, wait, this movie's actually sick.
Yeah, the revolutionary streak is strong there.
Some V, but I guess we have covered it in length. But had to throw it in here for the vibes of Halloween. One, I'd say probably out of all the comic book movies, other than the one I will talk about a little later, it's probably in the Halloweeny vibe. It's up like it's. I love me some V.
The costume design, the darkness, the dystopic sort of thing going on. There's a scary element to it. I think that's I get the Halloween vibes there. It's not something you can really put into words. It's just. It's vibes, man. That's all it is. I fuck with that. I fuck
a little
with that.
bit. Him standing in all that fire burning up and
shit. Yeah.
Crazy stuff that goes on there a little bit, but
it's a good example of how it doesn't have to be a Halloween movie at all, strictly. Like Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town, you get the classic.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, but I like that example. I think Get Out, it had a little bit more of that horror thing, but it's not a Halloween movie, like that's not necessarily the time of year that you would think to watch Get Out, but it fits here. It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. My
going is good old Revolution. I
love a good Revolution.
I don't
love
think
a good
it is
Revolution.
around Halloween, but there is a date that he specifically does it because of like
September, the
Oh,
5th
it
of the 5th of November, I think is
Yeah.
what it is, because
Okay,
there's a V.
So it's coming up. So okay, so we get we'll
Remember the 5th of
5th
November.
of November. That sounds right.
Yeah,
That
because
does.
there's a V in November. That's why he
Yep.
picked it.
Okay,
And
hell
5
yeah.
is a V.
Then there we go. That settles it. I'm watching V for Vendetta on November 5th.
There you go. There you go.
Oh.
I like that. But yeah, my 3 for Halloween vibes is an Alfred Hitchcock one that occurred in my top 100 also. This is where I have Psycho from 1960. Kind of a very, very formative movie on the horror genre. You know, the imagery of someone in the shower and someone walking up with a knife on the other side of the shower curtain. The blood swirling down the drain and that sort of stuff. Yeah, Bates Motel. Norman Bates here played expertly by Anthony Perkins. I love the whole first half being kind of like you think you're getting into something. The main character, you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be this is an interesting story we're following. And then she's murdered, and now it's a whole other movie, the second half. And it's like, wow, fun fucking movie, man. And, disturbing, you know, like, for a 1960 movie, this is, I have to imagine this dropped some jaws at the time. And damn, is it good, man. Hitchcock is a master at building tension, and, this movie does not disappoint. So I think that if you haven't, you gotta watch Psycho. As
far as my old movie repertoire, it's very, very limited. But this one, I don't know. I've just seen this one around. It's very iconic. Like I've just heard of it a lot, and
yeah, a little predictable now, simply because it laid the groundwork for what those iconic twists are. You know,
that's crazy to think about. Like, but then it would be new. It was
like, what? Exactly. That was hit. You know, like that whole thing. Wow. It's fucking awesome, man. I love Psycho, and it's one that I desperately need to give a rewatch. Because I've only seen it once, and it's this high on this project. So like, it made my top 100 off one viewing. Like, I need to give it a second viewing ASAP, because super good movie. So Psycho there at 3 for me.
There we are. Well, again, I'm falling into the trap of including a movie that we've talked about, and I wanted to share some love. But man, it's one of just my favorite movies of all time. And talking about a Halloween-y vibe or just autumn feel, this movie doesn't do it any better for me, honestly, than any other movie. And it is Fantastic Mr. Fox by the man, Wes Anderson. When I watch this, I literally feel like I can smell apple cider at some points, or some pumpkin spice.
I can hear the crunch of the leaves. I feel the crispness in the air. Crispness, not crispness.
Lupus. You know,
lupus.
It's
Vulpus.
Oh, God, love me. Oh, is that what it is? Vulpus.
Well, Lupus is the wolf. He also throws out Vulpus at some point.
Yes. Oh, he tries different
Microtus pennsylvanicus. You know,
yes.
I'm just going with all the different Latin names now.
Man, no, but I mean, I love this movie to death. It's one of my favorite just comfort movies in general. And during this time of year, it just started to get cold too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be stoked to watch this one again, and just snuggle up, have a hot cocoa, and just watch some Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't know. It never gets old for me. Oh. It only gets like a little bit better every time. It's like more comforting. I cry at the same points every time. It's just a perfect movie watch for me, and I love this movie to death. And yeah, so I had to put it on there. Not quite number one, but very comfort movie for me.
I like it a lot. But yeah, I'm returning to another one of my favorite directors. I already threw him out there a little bit ago. I'm going with John Carpenter once more, with probably his most iconic horror movie, and potentially one of the most iconic Halloween movies. Halloween, 1978.
Oh, dude, come on.
Dude, iconic. I got the chance to show this to, it was Emily's sister's birthday this weekend, and we got pumpkins, we did a carving thing, we did a painting thing, and they were like, oh, we want to throw on something Halloweeny, and I was like, if you guys don't mind, and we're not going to really be paying attention, I got something that'll be great background, because that score plays almost the entire time. It sets the tone the entire time, and they got a chance to, and it was so captivating that at points they'd hear that song come on, because I told them at the beginning, every time you hear the song, Michael Myers is somewhere. He might not be on screen, but he's watching whatever's happening on screen. Like he's watching. So like the song would come on and everyone would like look towards the TV, like, what's going on
here?
So like, and it was so fun to see them all react to it in that sort of way. But, man, it doesn't get more iconic, I don't think, than Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis's performance here in Halloween. It's it's Halloween, man. There's not much I can say about it that hasn't been said, and I'm thinking that at some point we got to do a John Carpenter spotlight. Hopefully, he puts out another movie.
Yeah, that'd be really, really fun. Maybe.
Oh, it would.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he doesn't put out another movie, maybe
next October, maybe we just dedicate it.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Yeah, I like that. But this one is did we trade for was this one on?
We did. This is one I propositioned and had to get from you. So
I didn't feel too bad about letting it go, but it probably would have made my list. Like, I mean,
if there's any slasher movie that I am a huge fan of, it's Halloween. I haven't even seen any of the sequels. There's like fucking 10 Halloween movies. I've never watched another Halloween movie besides the first one, because I don't need any more. I think it's awesome.
Just picking someone up, stabbing him so hard they stay up against the fucking wall, dude. Oh, I love that. And yeah, I love how he just walks. Never
in a hurry. He'll get there.
He's doing his so yeah.
You're so scared you don't even think I gotta run and just keep running. Because if you keep running, you'll get away from this. I also like that they show that he can drive. So like, if he really needs to, he'll get in his car and, he'll skirt on up to you if he needs to. But, yeah, man, Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter. Hard to get more classic than that. But I got one at my one that's just a personal favorite for me. So.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. It's a personal favorite movie, and it was my declared movie I was going to watch on Halloween, but I just couldn't resist it. I did it with this movie. I also did it with Tron. I wanted to watch Tron around Halloween time. I did it again. I broke it a little too early, but the other one is The Batman. I guess we have already covered it.
Thursday.
You didn't correct me. Yeah, turned into a nocturnal animal.
Thursday, October 31st.
The streets return. Yeah, I don't know. I just Robert Pattinson. I need everything. I need a more than a trilogy. I don't know. I need.
Give him 10 movies.
Yeah, just
let him grow old as Batman.
Yeah, let's see that older version of Batman with all the sidekicks, Nightwing, Robin, all that whole gang. Let's see them all. Robert Pattinson at the helm. But the reason I was gonna pick this, this is the most, I guess this one is on Halloween, literally in the movie, but it does feel I think he uses I don't know, him slowly walking up in the subway at the beginning,
fear
the use of fear. They think I'm there, I love
in
that.
The shadows.
Oh, come on!
But I am the shadows.
And this isn't even in the movie. This was just, we were talking about the new Penguin show that might come up on here, and saying that he shouldn't even be in the show at all, but it should just be flashes of things that could be Batman. That it's just freaking people
it's from their perspective, they see him running, oh fuck, using him as a POV sort of lurking figure. would be
Ooh.
gnarly. I hope
Yeah.
that's what they do, man.
So, I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit. We've already had our episode, and we will have another
Of course.
eventually.
Probably a few, if I'm being for real. I want to do, I could talk the Batman over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
it's a fantastic film, but, yeah, it's a good one. And that is another one that we had to, we bargained for. I think that's what I got Halloween. It was like, you got The Shining.
Halloween, yeah.
You got The Shining, The Batman, and Nope. And I got Aliens, Halloween.
And then I was like, I will also give you next free reign pick.
Well, I think Halloween was my next free reign pick. But was it Get Out? Was Get Out the other one I traded for?
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
I think so. But yeah, Aliens, Get Out, and Halloween are what I got in that trade. So I felt good about it. But yeah, that's a good one. And my one for Halloween vibes, I mean, another musical. I'm a sucker for musicals. I threw Little Shop of Horrors out there for the Monsters thing, but I'm going the Rocky Horror Picture Show for my number one Halloween vibes movie. 1975, directed by Jim Sharman. Just a homoerotic masterpiece. Susan Sarandon is fantastic in it. I think that there's such a... I don't know that there's anything that has ever replicated exactly what the Rocky Horror Picture Show was, and I don't think anything is ever capable of capturing what it is again. This is not a movie that should ever be remade. You cannot replicate what they were able to accomplish in 1975, centering a drag vampire, a transvestite from Transylvania, as Tim Curry calls himself.
This is okay. Okay, yes. Now I see.
It's fucking legendary. I picked Dr. Frankenfurter for the costume design earlier. And I'm a huge Susan Sarandon fan. She's Thelma and Louise, and a few other things that I absolutely adore. But man, just a Halloween-y ass movie. Some wonderful costume design, some wonderful songs and imagery. You get a little bit of like Dr. Frankenfurter's like a mad scientist sort of thing, but he's also dressed in fishnets and tall leather boots and shit so it's campy as all hell. It's hilarious. It's freaky, but not in like a scary way, but in like a sexual way. And
you definitely have the most unique Halloween vibe movie that there possibly could be. I think you're right. There's no ever making this movie again. No.
And I think you could, but it just wouldn't be as good. Like, it was so, it's so original that you can't touch it. You can't touch that again. And I love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So it was my top one for the Halloween vibes. And do you want to take us back through that top five there? Our final top five of the episode.
I got number 1, The Batman. Number 2, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Number 3, V for Vendetta. 4, Halloween Town. And 5, Hocus Pocus.
I've got number 1, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. 2, Halloween. 3, Psycho. 4, Get Out. And 5, The Bride of Frankenstein. And with that, we will conclude another 5x5 Halloween edition here. And man, was it a fun one. I'm so glad we managed to get this in. And man, we've got a lot to look forward to. If you are joining us for the first time, I noticed that our 5x5 Valentine's edition was a big one and doneer for people. A lot of people tuned in. First, it's themed, it's Valentine's Day. Let's listen to this Valentine's Day thing. So if you're joining us for the first time, I implore you to stick around. We've got our director spotlights going on right now. It's David Fincher, and tomorrow we're covering Fight Club. And I'm so very, very excited for that. We're covering The Incredible Hulk this Friday. And so we got a little bit of an Ed Norton week going on, a little bit of a Halloween-y vibe thing with The Incredible Hulk as a monster flick, if you would like to perceive it as such. We're rewatching Game of Thrones, very important. It is a rewatch podcast of Game of Thrones on Monday. If you've never seen Game of Thrones, you should not tune in, as we spoil the shit out of stuff. So definitely leave that alone if you haven't seen it. But if you have, please join us. We're starting season 6 next week. We concluded season 5 this week, and it's been a lot of fun. We just concluded our Scorsese director's spotlight in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon. And like I said, we're on to Fincher in anticipation of The Killer. We're doing The Social Network next week and Fight Club this week. And then we're on to Michael Mann. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm very excited. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you can support this podcast financially. It's huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review and to download. That is a huge help, and we are very close to crossing that barrier, my goal for the year, and I'm hoping this episode might be the one to do it. That would be super fucking cool. But yeah, remember to stand in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA, solidarity, as they continue their battle against the studios. They deserve everything they're asking for and more. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and happy Halloween.